everyone, it's your pants. So we are back with Minstonia's Hope, the Lost Delight, and we're in chapter 1, the pre-route still, so we'll just get started. It was my second morning at the Bernstein mansion. Like any other servant, I started working early in the morning before everyone woke up. Let's poke around the mansion and look for those shards. One of the reasons why I decided to work in this particular mansion was so I could see memories of the past. It reminds me of like Star Rail's like crystal shard thingies. I wanted to search for crystal shards that allowed me to look into memories of the people who were related to my plans for revenge. From what I've learned, information filled with strong magical power and emotions could create a shard because of my hand. That said, they aren't just lying around. Shards appear when someone is talking or when I touch something, or so I've been told. Where should I start? Okay, are they gonna give us options? I do want to save before then though. Oh. Let's see. Okay, so exploration segments. You may record the Bernstein estate or the outside world. You see icons and places that will be explored, and some in the other areas. On the right side of the screen, you can check who is present in the selected area. Okay, acquire shards at the bottom. Each shard is important to peer into the past. After exploring, you would enter See the Truth segment, and you'd be able to see the target's past here, depending on the number of shards acquired. Approaching a specific person hinges on seeing their past, but overextending the heroine's power with half-finished shards have consequences. You may end your exploration whenever you wish, but since it's the first time, you should familiarize with your state. Okay, so basically, okay, I was just like, okay, so basically we should just explore everything. Should I just go from, I'm gonna go from like the library first, because that seems chill. I don't know, maybe it's not chill, but I like the library. I saw the library when Evelyn showed me around, but still, there sure are an overwhelming amount of books in here. I would love a library like that. The spines alone told anyone looking that books on a wide variety of subjects were neatly stored on the shelves. They may be some clues, but I don't have time to look around at the moment. Oh, so this is not a room we should have gone in? I'll just keep this place in mind for now. Oh, okay. That seems, okie dokie. Okay, well, I just want to familiarize with my estate. So let's do dining hall next. I'm just gonna go like this, like that kind of like S kind of thing. I don't know. I don't think there should be a particular order, but whatever. I feel like that's more sense if you're walking into, right? I don't know. Okay, I opened the door to the dining room slightly and peeked inside. I found Evelyn and Charlotte peering closely at a small plate. Oh.
やっぱりあんたの作るマディラケーキは美味しいわね。ちょっとだけ味見するつもりが止まらなくなっちゃう。そうかな。ありがとう。もう、あんたってどうしてそう自信がないの？もしかしてまだユニークなのに力が弱いとか気にしてる？だって事実だもの。私の力はこの国の基準で言えばギリギリユニークって言えるくらいだから。ここで働く機会をいただけなかったらユニークじゃなくてミングルとみなされてもっと差別を受けてたかもしれないし。
Oh. So Charlotte is a demi-fae. Judging from their conversation, it seems like she's having a hard time. Like adjusting? How long has she been here? I can't remember. Charlotte looked at the ground insuredly, and Evelyn patted her shoulder.
正直私の出身地はヒューマしかいなかったからそのあたりの境界が曖昧なんだけどミングルって力のないユニークな差別用語だね。I like how they have the dictionary and she explains it too. はあ、バカバカしい。 とにかくあんたは私にとって料理上手なシャルロッテ以外の何者でもないわ。これだけ誇れる能力があるんだから、妖精の力がどうこうとか気にすることないわよ。もっと自信を持ちなさい。
ありがとう、エブリン。
Evelyn's thoughts on this are certainly unconventional, considering the strong discrimination in this country. Not that I dislike her attitude. I thought about the current condition in this country as I quietly moved away from the door. Oh, she didn't even say hi. Mingles are the same as semi-fays, only they are less powerful. They face discrimination because the queen abandoned them. Oh, the only pure fae in existence is the queen, a fearsome and being immense power. Ugh, blah. Everything about this country was wrong. This place was originally only humans, but now was ruled by fae alone. That included the 5 houses. I heard stories about how the 5 houses has banished the weaker demi-fae. Is treating them equally really so taboo? Obtain a shard. I think it's like taboo in the sense of like, hey, they literally tried to like take out the fae first, right? So aren't they just protecting themselves? So is that bad? I don't think that's like bad. I'll go to... Should I like go around? I think I'll go around the house and then do that last. Okay, let's go to the the parlor. I think I said parlor.
あんた、昨日来た新入りか。ここは担当じゃないはずだけど。
Oh, wait, there's more? I didn't even know there was more. When I entered the room, I found a male servant I met when I made my introductions, was washing the windows. I'm looking for Evelyn. Have you seen her? That's nice.
ああ、この時間なら食堂だろう。行ってみるといい。
Wait, how many servants? Yeah, I'm glad there are not like that many servants before. Thank you. Allow me to excuse myself then. The man returned to his original task. There was no point staying here, so I left the Great Hall. Okay. Let's go to the Long Gallery. Oh, wait, there's the butler there. Garden. No one's in the garden. So let's maybe... I want to save like the... Ugh. I feel like I want to save like the garden. Garden for last? Or not garden for last. The parlor for last. Because I feel like here should be fine. So let's just go to the garden first. Before we get like actual confrontational, right? Oh, this is so pretty. What's this? While cleaning the garden, I came across a piece of paper fluttering in the wind. I looked around and noticed a room with an open window. It must have come from there. I picked up the paper off the grass. It looked like to be plants of some kind. Ruins conductive wire, something that seems to be guiding the flow elsewhere. Huh? When I looked more closely, I saw the word exhibition written in the corner. Is that the exhibition venue? Exhibition where the queen and the 5 houses would all gather as per my plan. Oh, this is perfect for her. I may be able to use this. I folded the piece of paper and placed it in my pocket. Obtain a shard. Okay. Wait, I thought we were gonna get... Let's see. Okay. Or do I want to end on the siblings? Let's like... I kind of want to like listen here first to see the long gallery and then see what happens. I was about to turn a corner in the long gallery where I heard voices and paused.
旦那様、傍流のモーガン家から近いうちに挨拶に来たいと申し出がありました。しかし モーガンは近年力の弱いユニークばかり生まれているようですな。ヒューマとの根結が進んだ結果かと思いますが。
かの家は特にそうだったな。悪しき風潮だ。この国と陛下をお守りするのに必要なのは我ら強きユニーク。半端者は必要ない。
とはいえヒューマがこの国で重宝されているのもまた事実。妖精の血よりを取るからこそ生まれる発想もあります。
その発想が陛下のお心を引きつけているというのもまた事実か。皮肉なものだな。挨拶に来ると言っているのは次期当主か。
はい。ただ次期当主とはいえ能力はそれほどではないと聞いています。
ならば会う価値もない。極端に力の弱い者は一族から追放せよとだけ通達しておけ。
That's
承知いたしました。
Nicholas suddenly turned in my direction. Do they know that we're Demi Fae? We're Demi, alright?
どうかしたのか。
Oh, he saw us.
いえ、気のせいだったようです。私も猛録してきたのやもしれません。
何を言うかと思えば部屋へ戻る。
Oh, I guess they know each other so well that they're like,
かしこまりました。
someone's listening. Once the pair had disappeared, I finally let out the breath I've been holding. That gave me quite a fright. How did he sense me from afar away? I really need to be more careful around Nicholas. I think he's a demi-fae then, right? As I tried to calm my pounding heart, I thought back to the two men's conversation. Edmund is apparently a complete mediocrat. If that's how he treats weak demi-fae, I bet he doesn't even see powerless mingles as people. I left. The fact that he had such a different way of thinking from his son could prove useful in the future. Obtain a memory shard, or a shard. I think it's like, okay, so you have 2 in those ones. And that's a red one. Are we missing any on... Okay, yeah, there's nothing over there. Let's go to the estate entrance and then go to the entrance hall. I don't know if that's the best order. Oops! I thought someone was cleaning here. Everything was completely silent. No one seemed to be coming. Let's go somewhere else. Okay, this is our last spot, I think. Right? Oh, wait, no. Oh my god, I like totally derped. This like kitchen, entrance hall, and kitchen. Okay, I like derped completely. Let's go to the laundry room. And then we can finish, like go like a U, then go to like the servant's office. Is this a washing machine? I've never seen one like this before. A brand new washing machine caught my eye as I entered the laundry room. Where is it? The thing on the left? I've never seen this type in other homes I worked at. I expected as much from the 5 Houses member. After admiring the unusual appliance, I looked around. There was nothing notable, only what appeared to be servants' clothes. Let's try going somewhere else. Is that the laundry thing? The one with like the wooden thing with the wheel on it? Okay. Butler's office and kitchen. Oh, I feel like that's kind of awkward. Going to the butler's office? The kitchen was hot. Perhaps someone had just been using the stove. No one's here. I doubt I'll find anything here. You never know. Making assumptions was never good, but someone might think I was poking around if they found me. It'd be best to avoid raising suspicions. I think you're suspicious already. With that, I exited the kitchen. Okay, time to go to the servant's office. I was headed to the storehouse to put away some things when I heard some voices coming from the servant's office.
エブリン、こちらの繕い物は終わっているか？
はい、終わっています。
Nicholas and Evelyn were inside.
ああ、仕上げも文句なしだ。お前に頼んで正解だったな。ありがとう。
In Nicholas's hands was a bread spread that Evelyn asked me to mend the other day. Oh, hey, that's us then. It's how she gave it me because she couldn't bear watching me finish my work early. I found it surprisingly immersive and had lots of fun with it. Finishing my work quickly isn't enough. I need to pay attention to my surroundings. I was grateful though, since it made me realize how hard it was to assign work. However, Evelyn seemed uncomfortable. Is she gonna tell the truth?
どうかしたのか？複雑そうな顔だが。
はあ、それ実は繕ったの
she's
は
honest.
私じゃないんです。
違うのか。では一体誰が？もしや。
はい、お察しの通り新入りのあの子です。彼女仕事がとても早くて丁寧なんですけど、早すぎて回すものがなくなってしまって、それでその繕いをお願いしたんです。
そうだったのか。いや、しかし。
Nicholas inspected the bread sheet again. After a moment, he looked at Evelyn amusedly.
お前がこういう仕事を他者に割り振るとは、お眼鏡にかなうだけの働きをしているということだな。
Oh.
試すという意味は全くありませんでした。ただ普段の仕事ぶりを見て任せても問題ないと思っただけです。頼まれた仕事を勝手に新入りにやらせてしまい申し訳ございませんでした。
Nicholas shook his head at Evelyn's apology.
そこで自分の手柄にしないのがお前の良いところで、信頼がおける部分だと私は考えている。それにこの仕上がりが見事なことは事実であれば叱責する必要もないだろう。今度から彼女に頼む仕事を私も考える。
My heart warmed a little at the relief look on Evelyn's face. If she kept quiet, no one would have ever found out. She's very honest. My opinions of Evelyn changed a little, but I reminded myself not to let my guard down. I was about to turn around, but then, oh, they caught her. Oh god. It's like the second time. I felt like I made eye contact with Nicholas. Wait, huh? My heart skipped a beat. I took an instinctive step back and quietly left. Well, I guess we only have the butler's office. Mr. Nicholas, I've come to deliver a letter from Philip. Oh, other butler. I suppose he's gone off somewhere. Well, you just... I guess it's not in order, damn it. When I bumped into Philip in the hallway early, he basically forced me to hand a letter to Nicholas. I knocked on his door to no response. I didn't sense him either. The butler's office was always locked, so dropping things off here was impossible. I can't do anything about this right now. I'll just give him the letter next time I see him. Opening an envelope without being discovered would be difficult, but I still wanted to know more about Nicholas, so I turned over the envelope to see the name of the sender. A woman with the last name of Henderson is probably Nicholas's wife. Nicholas only had a wife according to Garner's information. Nicholas worked at the mansion from dawn to dusk and only returned home twice per month. Oh, considering how utter devoted he is to the Iman, I really have to be on my toes around him. With a renewed sense of caution, I pulled myself together, then I pocketed the letter and left. I do wonder how it is to, like, say, work for an entire month and just come home twice. Because I think that's more normal than not. Because a lot of people take business trips, or I guess before COVID. Lynn and Edward descended the stairs to the first floor as I polished the railing.
あら、お掃除精が出るわね。ねえ、エド。ご家の方々はいつお見えになるのかしら。
姉上、遊びに来るわけではないんですよ。来ても話し相手になる暇はないと思います。
Oh, she likes one of them, maybe?
あら、嫌だ。もちろん分かっているわよ。でも、晩餐会は開くでしょ。おもてなしするのは私だもの。誰がいつ到着するのか、全員揃うのはいつなのか、知っておきたいと思うのは当然だわ。
So Lily is playing hostess, huh? I suppose she's acquainted with the Five Houses members. Well, she's also...
確かにそうですね。それならお伝えしておきますが、最初に到着するのはアルさんかライナだと思います。ルーカスさんはタウンハウスにはいらしているようですが、お屋敷から出たくないとのことで、こちらにお見えになる時期はまだわかりません。アスコットさんは気が乗ったらと連絡をもらいましたが、それでは困るので、なるべく急ぐようにお伝えしたところです。
So no one has a real date. The way Edward spoke of the others hinted at their relationships. The two he called by nicknames were most likely from the houses Cresswell and Ward. I wonder if he isn't as close to Sullivan or Lindell. Maybe it'll be easier to tell once I see them talking face to face.
まあ、昔は肩を並べて戦った御家も刀なしね。自由気ままでまともにがないじゃないの。今の御家は陛下のために結束できるのかしら。
そうできるよう努力します。
Edward was in some kind of mood, but Lily paid him no mind as she walked down this hallway. Are we still eavesdropping? I watched Edward follow her, encouraged when something came to my mind based on their conversation. It looks like the Five Houses aren't united. Hopefully I can use that to my advantage. I needed to know who those four really were. I need to know my enemies. With that in mind, I finished my duties and headed to my next chore. So I don't know if I really buy that, because like if she knew her enemies, it wouldn't be this generation, right? It would be like the following generation, or sorry, the previous generation, because it would be their parents because she's older now. But I guess like targeting the kids would be a good way to know the parents, but then I don't know how much the kids would know. And then I see discarding part 2. I guess that's where we left him earlier. Let's go here. Oh, this is pretty. Oh, I love this.
お仕事中にごめんなさい。今大丈夫かしら。
Lily peered in from the doorway. Charlotte and I stopped cleaning and looked up.
新しい子がこの家に馴染めているか気になって。ローズさんだったかしら？
How does she know? What? Yes, please call me Rose. I'm not worthy of being called Miss by you, my lady.
主だなんて、私にそんなに気を使う必要はないのよ。この家の主はあくまでお父様ですもの。それに、私は一度結婚してこの家を出たに、お嬢様と呼ばれるのも本当は恥ずかしいわ。
Wait, what? Wait, what? The sound in her expression reminded me of the so-called incident Evelyn had told me about. Oh, that's why she's wearing mourning clothes. It's not like I can ask her about it here, and the mansion's residents are holding their tongues too. I guess I'll ask Gonra about it.
シャルロッテとはもう仲良くなったのかしら？
Have we? I glanced at Charlotte. She seemed frightened for some reason. She's very kind, a kind mentor. I hope we can build a relationship based on mutual trust. Very textbook answer. I didn't flatter her too much, but I didn't keep her at arm's length either. It was a rather neutral answer.
よかったわ。女の子が増えて最近邸内も華やかに感じているの。ぜひうちで長く働いてもらえると嬉しいわ。
But if she remarried, she wouldn't be here anyways. Lily smiled charmingly. I tried to smile back, attempting to avoid being rude. I'm undeserving of such words.
この屋敷でもし何か不自由があったら遠慮なく相談してちょうだい。シャルロッテも彼女が早くなれるように仲良くしてあげてね。
Lily nodded, satisfied with Charlotte's answer, then left the room.
緊張しました。
I glanced at Charlotte, suspicious. Was there a wall between Lily and the servants as well? Charlotte steadily herself, then explained.
すみません。でもお嬢様があんな風に明るくはしゃいでいらっしゃるの初めて見て、驚きと緊張が。
I mean, it's been how many years? I can't remember. 4 years? 3 years? Oh, really?
はい、お嬢様、普段はフィリップさんとしかあんまりお話しされないんです。それにぼんやりしてお庭におられることも多くて。
I had only just arrived and barely had any contact with Lily, so I had no idea what she was normally like. Is having more women in the mansion really a reason to celebrate? The only high-ranking aristocrat I know is Mother, so I'm not sure.
でも元気になられてきたのかもしれない。よかった。
Charlotte smiled joyfully, her dust cloth clenched in one hand. Then she seemed to remember where she was.
ごめんなさい。今のはあくまで私の受けた印象のお話で、早く拭き掃除を終わらせちゃいます。
Are we done with it? You're right. Let's get this over with. I resumed cleaning, Lily's behavior and Charlotte's words still in the back of my mind. Okay. Well, let's go to the garden then and talk to Philip. So he's the last person and we'll get the truth? Is it one truth situation or is it all? Like 3 truths because we have 3 shards or 3 orbs. I finished gathering the fallen branches.
おー、てか早っ。ああ、いや、ありがとう。あっちもお願いしてもいいか。
We're too fast. We need to stop. I feel like this is me at work. I'm like, duh, so fast, and then I'm
こっ
like,
ちの
oh
大きい
crap.
鉢を動かすか。フィリップ、手を貸してくれ。
はいよー。よし、持つぞ。
となあ、5家の方々って会議しに来るだけなのかな。
だと思うけど、なんで？
The banquet.
妖精の能力ってやつを見てみたいんだよ。俺たちヒューマにとっては能力どころか羽を目の当たりにすることもあんまりないだろう。
ああ、そういうことか。けど多分5家会議で羽を出す機会なんてないんじゃね？と女王を警護するときなんかは万全の体制で臨むらしいから羽も出してるし力を使うこともあるんだろうけど。
Oh, that'd be so pretty then.
どっちにしろ俺たちが目にするチャンスなんてそうそうないって。
Wait, why? Oh, I guess because we aren't able to be there.
やっぱりそうか。結局このお屋敷で働いてても5家の方々は俺たちにとって雲の上の存在なんだな。
ここで働けてるだけでラッキーだと思えよ。よし、下ろすぞ。
Wait, what are they lifting again? I totally forgot.
ありがとう、助かった。次はあっちのベンチを動かすか。
Citizens sure do consider the five houses special, huh? While some lamented over the hierarchy of society, others admired it. The queen, as well as the five houses, protected the country. That was an undeniable fact. I braced myself. The queen wasn't my only formidable opponent. Obtained a shard. The music is all like totally different. Okay, I locked the door just to be safe and placed the crystal shards I had gathered on the desk. Other people don't seem to see these shards, but they really are beautiful. Orban, I've collected some shards. It's in her stopwatch, right? I poked my pocket watch, calling him. After some time, he appeared. I want to see how he looks like.
手際がいいじゃないか。
Wait. A single robin came out of my pocket watch. This would be normally be surprising, but I had gotten used to it by now. Is that him? He's a bird? It's because his bird was actually the person he had formed a contract with. The Fae King or... Oh! Wait, what? Wait, what? Hold on. We never really talked about the king. What the... What? Okay. This is not his true form, though. He was only transferred into a bird temporarily, so he was able to fit inside the pocket watch. The bird's cute, though. There are many things I wanted to tell him, but I didn't have the time. I got straight to the point. Thanks for the insincere compliment. Anyways, what should I do with these?
教えるなんて必要もないぐらい簡単だ。似た性質を持つ情報は色が近い。ほら。
The shards he pointed to with his feathers were indeed all red. Were they all?
右手で握り込んで意識を集中させるんだ。そうすれば見える。かけらが少なすぎると見れない。ちょっと足りないぐらいなら強めた仕様の手の力を発揮すれば見れると思う。
That's a bit vague. How much is a few, though?
はいはい。そういう苦情は見れなかった時しか受け付けません。レクチャーは終わりだ。
Wait, I'll give it a try, so don't.
ああ、かけらはあくまで一時的な具現化。時間が経つと消えてしまうから、見るか見ないか判断は早くすることだ。
Oh. Wait, what?
じゃあな。
Thought he was worried about us. Where'd the hell it go? Just like that, Orban took his leave without even listening to what I had to say. He could have stayed until I tried it first. Does he not have much power? I get nowhere if I stayed here just being upset. Collecting myself, I reach for the shards. The 5 houses are a pillar of nations, all of my enemies. What ideologies drive them? Are they united? I'm gonna save right here. I did save earlier when we had like all the options, but I don't think that's as important. So I'm gonna overwrite it. Okay, can we go through all of them? Oh, I see. Oh, I think we can't go all of them. So, the 5 house pillar, ideologies, the floor of venue is important. I wonder who dropped it. The class is various bad evidence. Everyone seems to agree, but someone is lying. I think the hall would be most important. The hall would be nice because that's where you want to deck your plan, but it's better to know the background of the people. So maybe like the 5 house pillar, just because it was first too. I don't know.
次の合計会議にはエドワード。お前にバーンスタイン家の代表として出てもらう。
Is that Emmon's voice?
承知しました。ですが、なぜこのタイミングなのです？
むしろこれ以上のタイミングはなかろう。他の一族も代替わりが進んでいる。まさか自信がないとは言わないな。
もちろん申しません。任じられたからには立派に務めを果たしてみせます。
Was there another
我
option?
が一族で現状、私に次ぐ力を持っているのはお前だ。その意味が分かっているな。
はい。この国のすべての民と兵。
違う。間違える。呉家は女王陛下とこの国を守護するためのもの。すべての民を守る必要はない。
Wait.
父上。お言葉ですが、民あってこその国です。力ある者は弱き者を助ける義務があります。
何度も言っているだろう。弱き者はこの国に不要だ。いい加減、その脆弱な考え方を。
I wonder why he's like that. Like, weak people are like not this
そ
or
れ
whatever.
に今のお前に一体何ができている。ビビたるほどとして何か国は変わったか。
Ugh.
それは。
理想論を語ったところで何も変えられない。呉家筆頭としての責務を果たすことだけを考えろ。この話は終わりだ。出ていけ。
Jesus, get out. Ouch. This had to be Emmon's memory. I can set the concern for Edward. These two have extremely different views. If the members of the 5 houses think like Emmon, though, they're all way too arrogant. In this country, nobles came in second only to the queen, with the head of the 5 houses being the lead of their own. My family had been one of them too, once upon a time. My father, mother, and brother treated everyone equally. However, they never dismissed anyone just because they were weaker than themselves. There was no release for the anger and irritation that fulfilled me. This isn't just some anger, though. What is this dark feeling? Some sort of expectation, maybe? I have no clue whatsoever. That is all the information this shard has. What kind of info can I get from the other shards? Oh, we can do all 3. Let's listen to the other class one, and then we can go do the last one with the floor plan. So the class disparity in this nation is blatantly evident. Everyone seems to agree, but someone is lying. Is this the kitchen? Wait, The butler? Did we get one from the butler?
怖いの。私、すぐに死んじゃうんじゃないかな。
それってミングルは寿命が短いって言われてるのを押されてるの？でもあんたはユニークでしょ？気にしすぎじゃないの？
私はこの場所にいられるからかろうじてユニークって名乗れるだけだから。
関係ないって。誰だっていつ死ぬかはわからないんだから、ユニークとかミングルとか気にすることないんじゃないかな。そんなこと言ったら俺なんて何の力もないただのヒューマだぜ。妖精の血も引いてなくて非力だからすぐ死ぬかも。
あら、それを言ったら私もなんだけど、この国で真に永遠なの女王陛下ぐらいでしょ。みんな短いわよ、あの方に比べたら。
I hope she's calmer.
ここでこうして働いていられる、それだけで幸運だって思った方が人生明るいぜ。
今は休憩中。紅茶が飲みたいと思って来たんだけど、なんだか深刻な話をしているみたいだね。
Is that awkward or not awkward? His memory says their thoughts are as calm as the lake, even when they're talking. I wouldn't be pretty surprised if they wind up weeding up like this. I also sense a hint of mockery in their thoughts. Where did that come from? Is that Phillips? If this belonged to one of the 4 people in the memory, then their words and inner thoughts don't match. I didn't expect any of them to think that way. Is it Philip or Evelyn? That is all the information from the shard. Okay. Okay, last one is the venue. A floor plan exhibition venue. It seems important. I wonder who dropped it.
それじゃあフル、頼んだよ。この書類はすべて私の部屋に運んでおいてくれ。
Are we suspicious of Phil?
了解っす。
ねえフィル、エドに何を頼まれたの？
ですね、御家会議で使う博覧会の資料を部屋に運ぶように言われました。
Wait.
博覧会。確か陛下もお出ましになるのよね。私もぜひお供したいわ。今度会ったらお願いしてみなくちゃ。
リリー様はまた陛下のところへ行かれるおつもりで？
とても楽しみね、博覧会。胸が弾むわ。
ああ、やべ。
Oh, this is probably Lady Lily's memory. It looks like she was eavesdropping on their conversation. I can feel excitement in this memory. It seems to stem from her anticipation for the exhibition. Does she have a plot against the Queen? Now that I think about it, both of them call Philip by his nickname. Aren't they just Lord, Lady, and Servant? There's no point in mulling it over. Maybe I should give this paper to Philip later. It's probably his. I think that's a good move. And with this, I've checked all the shards I collected. These memories may be fragments, but I'll try to remember all of them nonetheless, including the emotions I feel while watching them. So it's fear, excitement, and caution. After this note, what was the note? Oh my god, wait, what was the note? Fuck. Wait, what note? What note did we have? Oh, the one with the butler and his wife, right? Let's not burn it. I'm gonna go not burning it. Is that right? Who knows? I'm a bit anxious, so I'll burn this later on. Sure. Stuffing the notes I took today into my apron pocket. Oh, those notes. I went right back to work. I was like, wait, what notes?
手が空いてるならちょっと手伝ってもらえるか。
Understood.
これは
Oh? Tackling a full work schedule after using my power so much is exhausting. Massaging the hairs between my brows on a whim, I reached down for the paper I hid it in my pocket, not for a second later. Ah, someone's there. I guess I was imagining things. I doubt it. I think someone is there. I didn't see anyone around, however.
まさかこんなところに子ネズミがいたとは。
Oh, it's us, right? What? He's behind me? By the time I turned around, it was too late. The impact felt... Oh no, I died. Someone stabbed me. The butler. The butler stabbed her. Who are... As I collapsed, I pushed all my strength into my neck, trying to turn and see my assailant. His voice rained down ruthlessly. Or is that...
お前の存在は害にしかならない。ここで消えてもらおう。
This isn't the lord. It sounds like the butler. A gleaming blade swung down on my head and... Oh yeah. My wounds were dried. My world's dries crimson red. Well, I got one ending. Okay, let's load.
おかえり。ちょうど俺も
What did I I select burn it? Damn, we should burn that. But what notes is this though? I don't remember. As for this note, I guess we will burn it. I memorized the note, pocketed it, and left the room. After making sure no one was around, I threw the note into the stove's flickering flames. The slightest bit of carelessness could have proved fatal. I need to be careful.
ああ、ちょうどいいところに。
I just finished cleaning the premises when Philip called out to me. He seemed to be in a hurry.
俺、ニコラスさんに呼ばれてるんだけど、さっき旦那様にこの本を図書室へ戻すように頼まれちゃってさ。ニコラスさんの方はトラブルっぽい雰囲気だから早く行かないと怒られそうだし、悪いんだけど代わりに戻しておいてくれないかな。
Oh, okay. Of course.
助かった。後でちゃんとお礼するよ。
Philip winked, then hurried down to the basement. This may be my chance. Even if someone finds me, I can just make the excuse that I'm there to return the book. Sure. Finding time for myself was challenging with a job like this. But if I use this as an excuse, I may be able to learn something about the House Bernstein in the library. Then again, I'm not sure any documents stating who left Bernstein Mansion for my hometown 8 years even exists. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, how do you know? Oops. I didn't read that last part. What did she say? If I can find just a single clue, that would be enough. I memorize the general arrangement of the books and other documents, and since I can't stay long, I'll return the book first. I looked at the shelves. The books were sorted first by genre and second by alphabetical order. I noticed an empty space on the bookshelf that seemed to belong to the book. I doubted that I could reach it though, even if I stretched. I found a stepladder in the corner of my room and placed it in front of the bookshelves. I'm already halfway up the ladder and I still can't reach it. I glanced at the towering bookshelves, then climbed to the very top of the ladder. Finally, I could reach. This should be good. Oh, what did she find? My relief was short-lived. I must not have positioned the stepladder properly, for it wobbled the moment I put the book in place. Oh God, I'm falling. It's not too far to the ground, but ouch. I shifted, figuring I wouldn't get hurt, so as long as I positioned myself properly. But then... Oh, is it? I can't see.
大丈夫。
Oh, that's so cute! The next moment, I found myself in someone's arms. It was so sudden. I had no idea what happened. That's what I wanted to say. At least, it was difficult to really say that when we were close and staring at one another, though. That someone like Edward, apparently, he's caught me when I fell off the ladder, much to my dismay.
間に合ってよかった。脚立ごと君が倒れそうになっているのを見て焦ったよ。
I think he's so sweet. Thank you very much, Lord Edward. I appreciate your help. I can't tell him I could have managed it on my own. Does he think we're human? Things will be easier if everyone views me as a fragile, harmless maid, but how would a frail maid respond in a situation like this? Thank you? Judging by his gentle eyes and smoothing tone, I doubted he had any ulterior motives. Nonetheless, we were so close that we could hear one another's breaths breathing. And I even thought I could feel his heart breathing. I want to tell him to let go of me, but I'm not sure if servants are allowed to make demands like that. I think you are. I hadn't really expected the need to deal with such a situation. Edward seemed genuine too, which only troubled me more.
失礼。こんな風に女性に触れるものではなかったね。
Edward gave me a little space. Ever the gentleman.
見たところ怪我はなさそうだけれど、どこか痛めたりはしてない？
I'm fine. Thanks to you, Lord Edward. I added the thanks to you on purpose, thinking it would help make me sound more grateful. I guess if you read it sarcastically. But for some reason, Edward
普
looked
段はぶし
awkward.
つけに女性へ触れたりはしないんだけれど、君が怪我をしないようにと考えたら、
Oh
ああすることしかできなくて。でも
I don't think
君にとっては気分がいいものではなかっただろう。本当にごめん。
Philip is indeed correct. He's the epitome of a fine young man, abounding with kindness. This only makes things harder for me. He was a true gentleman. He treated me as a woman rather than a servant, apologizing for touching me. Dealing with him would be harder than someone openly hostile, hence I ended the conversation quickly. I'm fine. There's nothing to be worried about. Well then, I should return to my work.
ああ、待って。君とはちゃんと話したいと思ってたんだ。挨拶も途中になってしまったし。
Wait, how does... I blinked at the hand Edward held out to
改め
me.
てようこそバーンスタインへ。何か困ったことがあったら遠慮せず相談するんだよ。
I feel like he's
それから
being so nice, and all we
今度
think
こそ
about is like
君の名
revenge.
前を聞いてもいいかな。
Does he really not know? Though? Real? He outstretched his hand, reminding me of yesterday, except it was just the two of us. No one was there to correct him. He blabbered about touching a woman's rudely earlier, yet he offered a handshake so casually. That's not the same. Like, that's not the same at all. His personality is troublesome too. If I refuse to shake hands, he may be even more concerned, thinking something is wrong. Well, I mean, I quickly gathered my thoughts and accepted the hand Edward offered. My name is Rose Cottingley. Thank you for your concern, Lord Edward. I shall put in my best effort at work.
ローズ。いい名前だね。礼儀正しい有能な子だと聞いたよ。
This is our second day, right? So, what? His warm hand tightly grasped my own, and he gave me a bright, carefree smile. Edward tilted his head, still smiling. It only made me feel uncomfortable.
でもそんなにかしこまらないで。私は主人と使用にではなく、君たちと対等に会話したいんだ。この屋敷に来てくれた歓迎の意味を込めて、私から一つ贈り物をしているんだけれど、君は今何か必要なものはあるかな？
My revenge. Blood. This must be the custom Philip spoke of. I'm honored, but, once again, I tried my hardest to avoid looking bad by refusing. Only I couldn't come up with anything I needed at the moment, no matter how hard I thought. There's nothing I want other than revenge. My apologies, but I cannot think of anything. The man looked even more apologetic than I did. Oh, when I look at I admitted
謝
this.
らないでいい。困らせるつもりで言ったんじゃないんだ。それに急いで答えをもらおうとも思ってないよ。よければゆっくり考えてみて。また何日かしたら声をかけるから、思いついたものがあれば教えてほしいな。
Edward spoke cheerfully as he reached for the fallen stepladder.
これはもう使わない？
No I don't.
なら私が起こしておくよ。君はもう仕事にお戻り。もし戻りが遅いと小言を言われたら、私に本探しを手伝わされていたと言っていいよ。
He smiled at me one last time, then turned away gallantly. He truly was the epitome of a fine young man. This is really hard. I heaved a sigh, though the reason was probably different than most women's, as I considered what awaited me.
御家会議はもう目前に迫っている。各自気を引き締めて仕事に臨むように。
The servants all nodded solemnly at Nicholas's command. I have to support Evelyn and help cook. I hope I get the chance to explore the mansion more. I left the room with the other servants, who all dispersed to their respectful posts. I kept an eye on things. Like, first, I followed Evelyn's orders and cleaned the drawing room. I swept away the dust and polished the furniture, checking for any imperfections. Do we have fresh curtains, Evelyn?
あるけど、この前掛け替えたばかりよ。
Oh. These are fraying a bit. It's not bad, but guests might notice, so I thought I'd mend them or change them out.
本当だ。よくこんな小さなほつれに気づいたわね。
I simply happened to notice it when I touched the curtains.
ちなみにあんた、縫い物は得意よね。
Yes? More or less.
じゃあお願いしていい？このカーテン、お嬢様のお気に入りなの。変えるよりは繕った方がいいと思うわ。
Oh, I see. I'll get it done quickly then. Would you mind sparing me at least 5 minutes?
いいわよ。
5 minutes?
5分？あんたまさか5分で直すつもりなの？
Evelyn raised her voice. Strange, working quickly was always best. So why does she sound so shocked? I think you're kind of using inhuman speed. Yes, I can. Is there something wrong with that?
ないわよ。ないけど。もう、ほら、早くやっちゃって。
The awkwardness. This time she sounded irritated though. I didn't understand that either. Oh, she's coming for her job. I didn't give it much thought. Doing something I didn't understand was useless after all. But then... Charlotte, should I leave the flower here?
はい、そちらにお願いします。でも、ど
Oh
う
god,
して
this
小
is
麦
like
粉が必要
awkward.
だって分かったんですか？
Foodstuffs for the formal banquet just arrived, and I saw a lot of flour. Besides, you baked a good deal of bread this morning. Given all that, I conclude that you ordered flour for both the banquet and everyday use. It's nearly time to bake scones for afternoon tea and bread for tomorrow morning. Therefore, I thought it'd be best I bring you the flour.
その通りなんですが。
Awkward, awkward. Oh, this is... I suspected something was wrong with the way I approached things. This was confirmed during my next task. That's Evelyn and Charlotte.
ねえ、あの新人やばいよ。
Oh god. I was passing by the two women when I heard them talking about me. I stopped at the corner of the corridor. They didn't seem to notice me and continued their quiet chat.
私も行動を読まれてるみたいで少し怖いなって思ったかも。
わかる。気が利くのは間違いないし、仕事も超早いんだけど、表情筋が全然動かないから怖いのよ。あの鉄仮面、ニコラスさん以上ね。
This is no good at all. Did she not realize how fast she's been doing things though? I never intended to get close to them, but discovering what was going on here would be difficult if everyone kept their distance. Do I need to connect with them better in order to achieve my goal? Oh, she's like not used to being social. I want to ask John what to do, but he'll probably worry about me again. I tried to figure out what to do with myself, but sadly I had no idea how to grow closer to girls my own age. It's quite evident. Today was my long-awaited day off. Despite this, I didn't rush into the city excitedly. Instead, I visited a particular store on important business. Oh, what's this? I saw the person I want to talk to at the back of the cluttered store. Hello, Gonro?
おや、久しぶりじゃないか。その様子じゃうまくやっていそうだね。
I like her with her hair down. She's really pretty. This was Gormrel, an ally of mine and John's. She is a highly skilled informant in the area. The information she bought and sold was so accurate that no one knew where in the world she even gotten it. Many mysteries surrounded Gormrel, including her real name. Things are going well so far, I think. I hesitantly recalled how wary Evelyn and Charlotte were of me. This earned me an amused look. Ow.
今ちょっとめんどくさそうな顔したね。悩みがあるなら私に相談してみるかい？と言いたいところだけど、お嬢ちゃんはジョン坊や以外には腹は割らないか。
As soon as his name was mentioned, the second person I had wanted to see meet up with entered the store, John.
お嬢、元気か？
I imagine him to be a bit older, but I'm doing well health-wise. I hadn't seen any results from infiltration plan yet, but I'll keep trying.
ならちょうどいい。前に教えた5家の情報で追加が入ったんだよ。聞きたいかい？
Oh. Really? Of course. Of course I want to hear it. But how much will it cost? Oh.
ああ、お嬢、大丈夫だ。今その情報分の働きを俺がしてきたからな。
John took a banknote from his pocket and gave it to a girl who chuckled and gave her thanks before offering us chairs. What was that money? Used for information? Thank you, John. As always.
別にどうってことないよ。それに他の連中に売る代金よりも俺たちには安価で売ってくれてるからな。なぜか。
Really? John and I mentally prepared ourselves for the news information, but it seemed like she wanted to confirm something first.
さて、5家会議には各家の当主以外に次期当主や当主代理も参加するっていうのはこの間話したよね。
Yes? I do. It was brought up at the mansion too. The people you talked about before are definitely the attendees.
よし。なら今日はもう少し突っ込んだところ、誰に近づけば有利に進められそうかって点に絞って人物像を教えておく。
Are we choosing a route right now?
まず話しやすさで言うならエドワードとライナス。エドワードに関してはお嬢ちゃんの方がもう詳しいかもしれないね。
You're right. He is really easy to talk to. He'll speak to anyone, regardless of social status. Chatting with him is driving me a little insane, though.
何かされたか？
I hesitantly unsure whether or not to tell him what had happened in the library. I chose against it in the end. I wasn't sure if I could explain it well enough. He's just so genuine that it makes me feel awkward. He's full of good intentions.
それは言えて妙だね。お嬢ちゃんの言う通り、坊ちゃんは叩いても誇り一つ出なかった。
Oh, I wanna know. Girl who knew all of our goals gave us a meaningful look. That meant she wasn't positive he had been involved in the incidents 8 years ago. Go on.
OK。で、ライナスについては人懐っこくて明るいとこちらもいい評判がほとんどだね。
それでもウォード家はハウンズだろう。話しかけやすいとしてもお嬢が近づくのは危険だ。
Oh yeah, he's from that one.
危険ってのは合ってる。とはいえ、女王に近い人物だからこそ、やりようによっては使える相手だよ。話しやすくて女王に近いという点ではアスコットも同じなんだけど。
Is there an issue regarding him? Girl hesitantly looked at me and then let out an awkward laugh. Who
女好きで有名な伊達男だからね。聞こえてくる噂もどこぞの令嬢と浮名を流しただの、男爵夫人に手を出しただの、色恋沙汰がほとんどだ。
I doubt that's true, though.
お嬢ちゃんが相手をするにはまだ荷が重いかもね。
That's alright. I can deal with him. No problem. I feel like I was being treated like a child, but saying that only made me sound more childish in the end. Grom grinned, then patted my shoulder as if to comfort me.
まあ、あんまり力まずにやんなよ。それより、私がおすすめしたいのは次の2人。アルフレッドとルーカスさん。どちらも初見ではとっつきにくく思えるだろうが、アルフレッドはただ堅物なだけ。誠意があると見せられれば近づける可能性がある。
Square, is that how you call people who just want sincerity?
見せかけだけの誠意でいいのなら確かにやりやすいかもな。
John nodded as Garo continued.
でもバカでも無能でもない。それに次期当主や当主代理ってわけじゃなく、現当主っていう肩書きは伊達じゃないよ。
Oh.
近づくつもりなら敵意があると悟られないよう慎重にね。
What about Lucas?
大の人嫌いだからまず懐に入るのが至難の技。逆に言うと懐に入ってしまえばこっちのもの。ああいう手合いは一度心を開いた相手には弱いと相場が決まってるからね。
I see. I'll make sure I'll watch him closely when I run into him at the mansion.
そうしな。最後に一応言っておくと、エドマンドには近づかない方がいいよ。警戒心が強いし、女王への忠誠心も熱い。わざわざ危険な橋を渡らなくてもバーンスタインの情報を得たいならエドワードがいれば十分でしょ。
That's a good point. But don't we want to know
さ
about
て
his sister?
今渡せる情報はこれくらいだ。お題はさっきもらってる。他も調べとくからジョン坊やには別の仕事を頼むよ。明日はエデンまで届け物を。その後はジョージストリートのレストランへ給仕に行ってもらうから、できるだけ早く戻って。
あ、
なんで情報屋の手伝いなのにレストランで給仕することになるんだよ。
そこで欲しい情報があるからに決まってるだろう。そもそもあんたは文句を言えた立場なのか？
はいはい、行けばいいんだろ。行けば。
I feel bad for putting such a burden on you, John. That said, you two seem to have grown pretty close. You might have been complaining, but I can sense the relaxed atmosphere between the two. John looked at me like he wanted to say something, but Grandma let out a hearty laugh.
おやおや、そう見える？実は常連にもお前の旦那かって聞かれるんだよね。
あ？
冗談にしてもないな。
私もお断りだわって感じだけど、安心した？
Which one? Us? What do you mean by that? I asked, having lost track of the conversation. Girl sighed at John for some reason. Oh, he's
残念だ
clueless.
ね、ジョン坊や。
勝手な思い込みで人を憐れむな。
Oh. feel sorry too. John frowned, then he hurriedly turned to me and spoke in his usual tone.
お前は俺の心配なんかしなくていいから、自分の身の安全を第一に考えろ。一番危険に身をさらしてるのはお嬢なんだからな。
I know. Thank you for concern, John. John wasn't just an ally in my plans for revenge. He was also a childhood friend of mine and my brother's. I guess he'd never be able to face my brother if something were to happen to me. Well, I don't think it's just that. I appreciated his feelings and responded with honesty, like usual, saying this before parting ways had become a habit. I left the shop satisfied with the information I had learned, despite not quite understanding that last bit of a conversation. One day, about a month after I'd arrived at the house Bernstein, I found myself busy with that morning's work.
お客様は私が応接室までご案内するから、あんたはお茶の準備をお願いね。
Understood. My opportunity to meet the houses outside of Bernstein had finally come. Alfred and Linus would be visiting the mansion for a preparatory meeting before the Five Houses conference starting today. That sounds like a carriage. Either Alfred or Linus must be here already. I parted ways with Evelyn and headed to the kitchen. Then someone called to me from the top of the stairs.
おい、ローズ、ちょっと手を貸してくれよ。
Can you yell like that? I looked up to find Philip coming downstairs with a stack of documents taller than he was.
これ、応接室に運べってニコラスさんに言われたんだけど、さすがに量が。
I'm most suspicious of him. Oh god. Oh god, oh god, oh god. He's dropping it. Before Philip could make it to the finished first floor, the stack tethered and plummeted to the bottom of the stairs. As papers landed on my head, I realized that someone else's was in our midst. Seeing him for the first time, I thought he looked grumpy, though I suppose being cheerful in this situation would have been strange. Having a whole bunch of papers dumped on you. Despite the comical circumstances, the man in front of me seemed to be in a bad mood. It was like he never smiled before. This is Linus, right? Jesus. My apologies. It appears the documents I was supposed to collect fell from the second floor. I realized too late that the person who spoken didn't live in Bernstein's mansion. Alfred and Linus were supposed to arrive today. Is he? I recalled Garner's information. The stern face didn't exactly make him look amiable. He was a perfect example of someone who looked difficult to approach. Lord Alfred Cresswell?
そうだ。案内も待たずに入って悪かったな。しかし、何度もここへは来ているが、こんな出迎えを受けるのは初めてだ。
My deepest apologies. I shall take you to...
いや、いい。
Oh. Well, he knows where everything is, because they're close friends, right? I thought I was angry from the sharp way he cut me off. However...
これを片付けるのが先だ。私も手伝おう。
Oh, he's like nice too. He didn't smile or anything, but he didn't seem upset either. Rather, he took the initiative to lend us a hand. Not a fan of what he's wearing, the color scheme. Anyways, sorry. His serious nature was made evident in the way he carefully collected the scattered documents. I was surprised that Alfred and Edward didn't look down on servants and even helped them out. Nonetheless, it lined up with Garner's info. Thank you very much. Yeah, I really don't like what he's wearing. Ugh. Being sincere will certainly work on someone like him. He shouldn't harbor any ill will towards the serious maid. I thanked him and quickly gathered the papers off the floor. Philip came down after collecting the documents that had fallen on the stairs.
申し訳ないです、アル様。やらかしたのは俺なんです。
He's tall. Like, he tilts his top hat.
気をつけろよ。
はい。あとは俺がやるんで、彼女に案内を。
応接室なら場所を把握しているから大丈夫だ。それより。
After a pause and turned to me.
名前は
Oh my god, everyone wants to know her name. My name, it's Rose.
ではローズ、ライナスを見かけたら応接室に来るよう伝えてくれ。
Oh, I thought he was in this. Well, yeah. Following his business-like remark, Alfred quickly walked off. Philip sighed heavily once the figure disappeared from sight.
助かった。書類をばらまいた相手が旦那様だったら相当やばかったな。
Yeah, I think he'd probably fire everyone. Lord Alfred seems kind.
あ、君もそう思う？アル様は厳しい方だけど、俺たちを顎で使ったり理不尽なことは言わない方なんだ。今みたいにさりげなく手を貸してくれるしね。そういうところをエド様も慕ってるんだろうな。
When Edward's name was brought up, I realized this was a good chance to gather information. I cautiously asked a question. You said Lord Edward admires Lord Alfred? Does it mean the two are good friends?
仲がいいというには年が離れてるけど、エド様はアル様を呉家の当主のあるべき姿として見習ってるって感じかな。
I legit thought they were friends too, though. Like, nickname and everything?
アル様もエド様を嫌ってはいないと思うよ。ここにもよく来るしね。
As Philip gave me additional information, I drew a relationship chart in my head.
あ、そうそう。エド様と仲がいいといえば、ライナ様の方かな。年も近いし、子供の頃からの付き合いらしいから。仕事に戻るか。俺もライナ様を見かけたら声をかけておくよ。
Thank you. I gather one piece of information after another. Now I take my time choosing what card I should play to achieve my goal. After I finished my tasks indoors, I figured that I should clean outside while I had the time, since Alfred, one of our guests, was already holding a meeting in the mansion. Is something over by that shade tree? Shade tree? I approached what seemingly to be a large object lying by the tree. As soon as I realized that it was actually a person, the back of my hand started throbbing. Oh. Wait, will he see that? Doesn't it glow? Oh, what's that? What did you say? I think he might say, I like you? I held my trembling head and tried to steady my breath. For a moment, I was overwhelmed by the same sensation I experienced when I first arrived at the mansion. Why is my face that hand acting up now, of all times? I haven't touched anything, and what was that? I wonder if it was something from my own memories, and ended up so quickly that I barely remember what I had seen earlier. Well, we remember. I believe that was my hometown. If that person was the reason my face at hand activated, he might be an important individual connection to the incident 8 years ago. I peered at him cautiously. On the contrary to my expectations, I found him sleeping peacefully. I felt a little silly for being so wary. The young man was curled up peacefully as he basked in the sun, showing no signs of waking. This is the hound guy, right? Yeah, Linus hound. He looks so simple and innocent, and like some sort of defenseless animal soaking up the sun. He's kind of reminds me of a dog. I figured out what I'm thinking, but it fit him perfectly. Cats baked in the sun more often, but dogs felt better suited somehow. I muttered this to myself, realizing this wasn't what I wanted to recall, when the boy suddenly opened.
君は誰?
This is so awkward. Before I knew it, his hand had captured mine. I hadn't been careless. He was surprisingly agile for someone who'd just woken up. I couldn't have avoided him. My name is Rose.
何?
You're holding my hand.
ごめん、なんだか懐かしい匂いがしたから腕が勝手に動いちゃって。
Smell something nostalgic.
俺たち初めましてだよね。
I believe so. He let go of me surprisingly quickly, and I adjusted my posture. I was relieved that there was some distance between us now, but he leaned in close once again, staring directly at me. His searching eyes looked friendly, and yet they had the sharpness of a wild animal to them, perceptive and alert.
初めましてなのかな。
Who's this voice actor?
あれというか君、顔色悪いよ。具合悪い。屋敷の誰かを呼ぼうか。
There's no need for that. I'm alright. More importantly, I felt like he could see through my dark desires if he were to keep staring at me like that, so I decided to talk instead. Are you Lord Linus, perhaps?
そう。よくわかったね。
Well, I simply assumed since Lord Alfred has already arrived, Lord Alfred asked me to pass a message on to you if I happened to see you. Linus said he wanted you to come to the drawing room. I was gonna run there. Linus looked perplexed. It seemed like he had completely forgotten about the meeting and then had fallen asleep. He looked embarrassed, but not frustrated.
そっか。もうそんな時間か。わかった。すぐ行くよ。
Liz smiled, looked unnatural for some reason. I doubt he'd go right away as he claimed. Regardless, my job here is done. Yeah, technically. Restless, I cleaned the place up a little and decided to leave. The other side.
この匂い。知ってる気がするんだけどな。
Hmm? Alfred and Linus had been visiting the Bernstein mansion for several days now. Oh wow, it's been a couple days. Today, servants from the other households came to the mansion for a meeting prior to the 5 houses. However, those attending the meeting were senior staff, like Nicholas. Being nothing more than a maid, I continued cleaning like usual. Oh, auto. I'm finished cleaning the dining room. The great hall is currently in use, so I'll go straight up the hallway next. Someone yelled outside the window as I was making my way down to the hallway. Considering my next plan of action.
一族の面汚し
Wait, that's like
ミングルの分際で竹に入り込んでいたとはね
Mingle? Are they talking about Charlotte? What's going on? Normally I would have walked right past them, but her got on my nerves a little though. So I looked outside the window. Oh, it is Charlotte! No! Poor Charlotte! The first thing that caught my eye was Charlotte, who looked as if she were trying to shrink away. Her head down. Standing in front of her are people I've never seen before. Their backs to the window. By judging their uniforms, they're most likely maids from other households. Once again, they threw nasty comments at Charlotte.
ユニークでもないくせにどうやってご当主に取り入ったの
Oh my god. Based on their words and actions, it sounded like they were probably envy Charlotte. Why is Charlotte letting them say such cruel things to her? Why isn't she fighting back? Charlotte stood there silently. She looked like she'd given up, not even attempting to refute their words. Aww, this irritated me. She reminded me of my past self. I never had the desire to take revenge before. I'd only wanted to die. Should I interfere and help her? I may be able to gain Charlotte's trust, if I make a move. It was calculating, but Evelyn and Charlotte still kept their distance from me. After all. After some thought, I decided to make a move. Refrain. I don't feel like refrains. Make a move. F it. I should win her over. What are you gonna do? What are we gonna do? Yay! That's a good sign. Oh! I opened the window gently. Charlotte looked up and our eyes met. I said nothing, nor gave her a signal, and hastily lifted the bucket I've been holding. She's gonna dump it on them. Oh my god, the thing was filled with dirty water. It was the bucket I used when wringing out my dust cloth. I dumped the water on the maids' heads without hesitation, as if their backs were to the window. Huh? They glared at me, soaked and trembling with rage. I replied nonchalantly. My apologies, my hand slipped.
一体どうなってるのバーンスタインともあろうメーカーがミングルやおかしなメイドを雇うなんて後で旦那様に言いつけてやるから
Which one? After losing their tempers and my stoic expression, they threw their parting shot. I quickly laughed. A short time later, I went outside to fill the bucket with fresh water. Charlotte still stood in the exact same place. She came over as soon as she saw me. So cute. I merely opened the window because it was so noisy outside. I didn't do anything that deserved a thank you. It's so calculating.
それでもありがとう。
Hina expressed her gratitude not once but twice, convinced me that I'd gained her trust. Now that I'd accomplished my goal, I wanted to get back to cleaning the mansion, but first I asked Charlotte a question. Are you a mingle?
ユニークだよ、一応。
Her eyes widened at my question, and she answered unsurely. In that case, you should have got more confidence. I don't think you deserve to be oppressed, even if you are a mingle. If you're going to live in this country, I don't think it's a good idea to keep being mistaken for a mingle.
そうだよね。
Is she?
わかってる。
For mingles are like lowborn of demi-fae, right? Because they're not yet humans? Charlotte nodded bashfully. It looked like she was... I wasn't trying to encourage her or anything. It just felt like the thing to say. It had been a while since I've been motivated by anything other than revenge. Still, I acted on a whim. It was only later that my impulsive bore fruit. When I entered the kitchen to help with meal prep, Evelyn and Charlotte's eyes lit up.
聞いたわ。ただの鉄仮面かと思ったら、あんた意外とやるのね。
エブリ、鉄仮面だなんて言わないで。彼女本当にかっこよかったの。
Can't imagine like throwing an entire bucket out that side.
私のこと励ましてくれたし。
Right. They're talking about what happened in the garden earlier. It didn't matter whether or not they talked to me, but the walls they built seemed to have started to coming down thanks to that. Are you not going to start cooking?
あくまでそういう態度なのね。あんたのこと、この子がこんなに褒めてるのに。まあいいわ。今の話を聞いた後じゃ、その態度も照れ隠しなのかもって思えるし、私は全然気にしないわよ。
Are we shy? I don't think so. I think we're just like, we just want to like keep our distance, but like gain trust at the same time. Oh shit. I helped with Charlotte at first, but the girl was so efficient in the kitchen that I found myself twiddling my thumbs. I can't just do nothing. What should I do? Help with seasoning. Help with plating. Help with plating! Since the dishes had already been prepared, I decided to help plate everything. Oh, oops. Totally forgot about the auto. Charlotte, I finished plating the food. Is there anything else I can help with?
ありがとうございます。で、これは
Did we mess up?
ちょっとあんたこれ。
なになに、騒がしいけどどうしたの？
Charlotte, Evelyn, and even Philip, who had only come to find out what all the fuss was all about, froze when they saw my plating. Does it look bad? I thought I'd failed yet again.
芸術作品みたいじゃない。
When that goes up, whose trust are we?
はい。平然と並べられたローストビーフ、品よく添えられたマッシュポテト。ソースも綺麗な模様を描いていて、食べるのがもったいないくらい。
なんか料理が神々しく見える。君、掃除だけじゃなくて 料理の盛り付けも完璧なのかよ。
I don't know if cleaning is like a forte is like, I guess it is a good compliment. I realized that plating food was just one more skill that John had drilled into me would prove very useful. John really taught us like so much. After the commotion had settled down, Evelyn burst out laughing.
あんた、いろいろ意外すぎ。表情が変わらないだけで、実は中身はかなり面白いんじゃない？
私もそう思います。
I didn't understand why they were laughing, but I suppose it meant to make them open their hearts to me. After I finished cleaning the mansion, I headed into the city. I became more familiar with the servants after the incident in the kitchen. Now they entrusted me with grocery shopping. Oh, that's good. I need to try to get along with them. It'll be easier for me to head outside that way. The sun was high in the sky. Many people in freshly washed skirts and dresses walked down the street under the bright sun. Carriages bobbed past. Rome truly was a city brimming with life. However, I never could get used to the people acting like strange lines underfoot were normal, no matter how many times I saw them. The wings rained underfoot are said to carry the queen's power, protecting Rowan. Is that true though? In reality, keeping public order was entrusted to the 5 houses enforcers. I barely heard about the lions protecting the city. Even if they're for protecting, I don't want to touch them. They belong to my enemy. Recent incidents mean people go out last that night. It's dangerous after all. And over there, I glanced to the side. A long dark alley lay mere steps away from the main avenue, representing the light and the darkness in both the city and the country. There's an incontrovertibly disparity in the social classes in this country. Only a small amount people can live in the light. Still, I didn't believe the light was superior. Darkness could drown out the light after all. I feel like she says after all a lot. While I was out doing the shopping, I stopped by a bookstore and pretended to take a breather. Only one customer was inside. Meeting them was the whole reason I'd come here.
それで守備は
John! They're not suspicious of me. Not yet.
怪しまれてはいないがやらかしたってまだな。
Take it however you'd like. And just to be clear, I didn't make any big mistakes. I stood beside John as we whispered back and forth, pretending to browse the books. I didn't even need to look at John to know the expression he would wear. I'm amazed you haven't I?
違う、心配してる。
John's worrying and coldness were nothing new, but there was a hint of concern in his words that made me look at him.
俺たちがこんなに離れるのは初めてだろう。しかもお嬢がいるのは敵地だ。何か困ったことが起きても、俺はすぐには助けてやれない。思ったよりもどかしいな、この状況。
Don't worry, you might not be able to help me immediately, but you'll come eventually, won't you? On second thought, knowing that you want to save me is more than enough to keep me going in the mansion, even if you can't come rescue me. Oh, that's how much I trust you, John. You've always protected me, even when you say you're just a substitute for my brother.
信頼
Is
か
it just trust? What's wrong? I repeated myself curiously about his tone. Henry looked away and shook his head slightly, brushing the question off.
いやもちろんこれからも守るつもりだライリーの代わりにそろそろ時間だな別れる前にもう一度だけ言っておくバーンスタインに5家が集まり始めたこれからが本番だ絶対にお前の正体を悟られないようにしろよ
I know.
お嬢が生きていると分かったら今度こそその身が危うい
If they find out you're still alive, my heart ached hearing those words. I couldn't help but think about those who had died. I understand, but the thing is, we're still lacking in information. We need to accomplish our goal. I need to be prepared to make my move, even if it's dangerous. I declared determined. John looked like he wanted to say something, but I exited the store, leaving him behind. That was a nice break, though. I doubt my coworkers would approve. I couldn't meet with John or make it to go to the stores too often. People would grow suspicious of me if I did. I truly meant it when I said John helps me stay strong. I had someone on my side, even if it was one person. That alone greatly helped me when I felt like I would break down. I wonder how often he saved me over the years. On the way back to the mansion, I recalled my dark past. Memories of warm days came to mind. That time had been my whole world. Time passed slowly. There was nothing to be disgruntled over. I foolishly believed nothing would ever change. In hindsight, signs of the calamity had been hidden in everyday conversations, as well as my friend's expression.
いい？村の周りにある森から外へは決して出てはダメよ。
Why? What's gonna happen if I leave?
そうだな。森の外に出た瞬間、恐ろしい化け物が待ち構えていて、そいつは君の肩にガブーッと噛みついてくるぞ。
That tickles, father. That isn't a bite, that's a hug. I know you're lying about the monster, father. You just want me to stay here with you, don't you?
もうあなたはすぐにそうやって茶化すんだから。今は真面目な話をしてるのよ。
ごめんごめん、分かってるよ。さ、アプローズ。この後は力の訓練をしよ
う。特別な力は諸刃の剣にもなるわ。だからこそしっかり制御できるようにしておかないと。
What's her power? Again?
でも訓練以外では決して使わないこと。
I won't, mother. I promise not to use that.
それからその約束も。家族や友人と交わすささやかな約束なら構わないけれど、自分の何かをかけるような約束は安易にしてはダメよ。わかったわね。
Yes, I understand. My mother was strict but kind-hearted. Hence my father was soft on me, and my brother did what he could to get our mother to loosen up. Both my parents truly loved me. And my brother was so kind, showing me lots of love in obvious ways. Big brother, tell me a story about the city. I want to try Chelsea buns. You can buy them at the bakery in Rowan, can't you?
よく知ってるな、アプローズ。でも、チェルシーバンズはローアンでしか買えないというわけじゃないよ。お母様に食べたいとお願いしてごらん。きっと作ってくれるから。
I want to try the ones in the city though. I want to go to Rowan.
そうだね。またいつかお前と行けるといいんだけれど。
I remember seeing my brother stare at the ground helplessly, and I realized I shouldn't have pressed him about the city. However, I've been a curious kid who loved to talk to people, thus I visited his room often. What stories are you gonna tell me today, John?
お前も飽きないな。毎日毎日、そんなに暇してるのか？
So rude. I come here when I'm done studying and training.
ああ、はいはい。そうだな。じゃあ今日は、哀れなウィルの話はどうだ？
John told me all kinds of stories after I pestered him endlessly. I mean, he's saying me as just a brother, right? Like the story of the Fae who traveled between Turnagar in the surface world and how they come to the humanity's aid during the battle against Fernland. However, some Fae chose to return to Turnagar and never came to the surface world again.
そもそも妖精はいいやつってわけじゃないんだ。ヒューマにとって益をもたらすばかりではないと肝に銘じろよ。
Sometimes John told me these stories as facts. Other times he makes them folk tales. Many of the stories he told me sounded like tales from faraway lands until that night.
愛しているわ、私たちの大切な可愛い子。さあ、行きなさい。急いで。
Okay. My town was suddenly attacked in a great tragedy. Angry roars echoed around me. I was frightened, not knowing what was going on. Then my mother sent me off. I stepped onto a path that led outside from a hidden room. I forced myself forward, reluctant to leave. My steps were heavy, and the dark passage seemed to go on forever. When I finally made it outside, I found him waiting for me. John?
お前が無事でよかった。
His hand trembled when he hugged me. It was then I realized he was shaken up. I hugged John back, and his trembling subsided. We huddled together in the dark forest with only one another to rely on. My memories were vague from then on. One day, 2 days, then a week had passed. How many days that's been? I was devastated when John brought me back to the town. Nothing was the same. Everything had been burned to ashes. Not a single soul stirred. I had to accept the fact that my life and the people I shared it with would never return.
ここにいたらダメだ。どこか安全に休める場所へ行こう。しっかりしろ。
John must have been just as shocked as I, but he most likely put on a brave face for me. I was only able to start moving because I hung onto his strong hand. Ironically, this was how I managed to escape to the outside world, something I've always yearned for. My whole world fell apart that day. Later I come to learn something. Our hometown had clearly been attacked by someone, but people treated the event as if it had been a mere fire. Rumors spread that the town had been meddled in a legal conspiracy for it and had threatened to rebel against the queen and had only reaped what they've sown. I would never forgive such rumors. We hadn't been that sort of people. Everyone had been so kind and level-headed. They had nothing to do with any rising conflicts. And so I decided to make a contract with him after lying low for a while. With John's help, I began my quest for revenge. When I returned from my grocery run, I helped with lunch. Edward, Alfred, and Linus sat at the table. They discussed their meeting over their meal.
確かアスコットさんとルーカスさんは今日来るんだよね。
ああ、その予定だよ。
いよいよか。ここからがまた大変だな。
大変とも言えますが、2人が到着すれば博覧会に向けての話し合いがより具体的に進められます。私は到着を心待ちにしていますよ。
I feel like Edward's like the most innocent one.
随分楽観的に構えているようだが、癖のある2人を含め全体の取りまとめをするのはお前だぞ。大丈夫なのか？
癖があると言っても2人とも悪い人じゃないですから。仕事となればしっかりやってくれると思いますし。
仕事ぶりはともかく、俺ルーカスさんは面白い人だと思う。
面白い？そう言えるほどあいつと話したことがあったか？
実はあんまりないんですけど、匂いとか雰囲気が独特だなと思って、この機会にたくさん話しかけてみようかな。
はあ、お前ものんきだな。私たちは遊びで集まっているわけじゃないんだぞ。
もちろん心得てますよ。でも五家の親睦を深めるいい機会なのは確かですよね。
その通りだと思うよ。ルーカスさんが人と距離を置いているのは理由あってのことだと思うし、少し気になっていたんだ。私も積極的にコミュニケーションを取ってみるよ。アスコットさんに関しても少々気になることがあるから声をかけてみようと思ってる。
気になること？博覧会の件か？
いえ、女性関係についてです。方々から私の耳にまで聞こえてくるのはよほどです。一度物申した方が良いかと思いまして。
お前が言ったところで気にするやつだとは思えんが、まあ目に余る気持ちはよくわかる。
いずれにしても私が取りまとめを行いますが、後家としては当主としても先達のアルフレッドさんの統率力を頼りにしています。これからもご指導のほどよろしくお願いします。
指導は構わないが、あまり面倒はかけるなよ。
The impression I gotten from the conversation was the same as what I've gathered from Gordon's information. They seem difficult to deal with, but I won't achieve my goal if I avoid them. I'll need to be cautious around them. Dinner preparations had already begun, but after having assisted in the kitchen before, I was told I didn't need to help cook. I'm sure sure it had something to do with that one time when I helped season the dishes, but they get all tight-lipped when it's brought up. Because of this, I mainly cleaned. As soon as I started tidying the garden, I heard a high-pitched feminine voice. Is Charlotte being bullied again? Oh, Charlotte. Curious, I decided to seek out the sounds. Instead of a blonde girl, I found a dandy man surrounded by numerous maids. He smiled gracefully.
アスコット様、今日のお召し物も素敵ですね。そのデザインはとつくにのものですの？アスコット様の妖艶な佇まいによくお似合いですわ。
ありがとう。君たちの装いも素敵だけれど、どちらかというと私は服の下に隠されている美しい死体に興味がある。
Oh my god, wait!
嫌ですわ。アスコット様ったら。もうこうやって何人の女性を泣かせてきたんですか？でも泣かされてみたいわ。
That's Ascot, no doubt. His voice and action were more than enough to tell who he was, though the maids had also signed his name. I'd like to talk to him, though. Though now at the time, I was about to leave figuring out I wouldn't get any information I was after by joining in. I'd been convinced Ascot hadn't noticed me, but the man suddenly looked at me.
さて、私はそろそろ行かなければいけないようだ。お迎えが来たからね。
Oh? Did we? Wait, did we actually? Are we here to escort him? Ascot walked straight towards me after saying goodbye to the maids, who didn't want him to leave. Is he talking about me? Maybe he misunderstood something. He is really pretty, though. It was clearly not here to guide guesses anywhere with with a broom with a dustpan in hand. Yet Ascot stopped right in front of me.
美しいお嬢さん。
He stared at me and greeted me. He had red and purple eyes that exuded a bewitching charm able to seduce those around him. Is it me or did his eyes just get darker? I blinked at my odd discovery then. Oh! Ascot jerked away as if repelled by something.
なるほど。美しい花にはトゲが隠されていたか。
Huh? Wait, what is he going on about? I backed away slowly, suspicious. I knew it was rude, but was trying to run away from him. However, his hand caught my own before I could even take a single step. Oh no, I let my guard down. Does he think I'm suspicious too? A smile was still on his lips, but his eyes seemed feverish, and he seemed to be searching for something. I was rooted to the spot, wondering what he'll say next. Ascot gently lifted my hand. And then he planted a kiss on the back of it. Rose? I stared at Ascot with a blank expression, not having expected this turn of events.
私もまだまだだね。まさか眉一つ動かしてもらえないなんて。
Is he a charming fave? Ascot suddenly burst of laughter left me baffled, and I couldn't manage much of a response. Calling out to me and kissing my hand, is that just his personality? I understand why people say he's a lazy man. It irritated me, but now I understood why Gurnall was worried. I didn't know much about this sort of thing, just as I was wondering how to respond.
ところで、君は誰と契約しているのかな?
Huh? Wait. My heart almost stopped at his question, but managed to come up with something answer befitting of a maid and managed to remain emotionless. How's Springsteen? I'm employed as a maid at this mansion.
ああ、君が噂の。
Rumored? Rumored what? He wore a subtle smirk, and my awareness grew as he continued his hypnotic act. Then he let go of my hand.
有能なメイドが入ったと聞いているよ。名前を聞いても?
I'm Rose.
ローズ。ではそのうちまたゆっくり話そう。私はそろそろ行かないと怒られてしまいそうだ。
His smile widened when he bid me goodbye. Then he turned elegantly as ever and left. Why in the world does he want to talk to me? My suspicions deepened. I was wary of him, and not just because being overly friendly with women came naturally to him. The alarm bells going off in my head told me that much, at least. By the afternoon, the representative of each of the houses had finally arrived. I asked for Lucas Sullivan, the last of them, to the hall where the others waited.
やあ、ルー君。残念ながら私たちは締め出されてしまったよ。
Askell was seated at the front of the hall when we arrived. He seemed cheerful, not a hint of disappointment on his face.
どういうことだ?
先に着いた3人での話し合いが難航しているから、私たちのことは霧のいいところで呼ぶそうだよ。この分だと、今日のところはお役御免かな。
ふざけた話だな。こっちは今日来いと言われたから来たんだぞ。そういうことなら僕は帰らせてもらう。あいつらには来てほしいなら家まで呼びに来いと伝えておけ。
Lucas had been quiet and avoided eye contact when I first met him, so I assumed he was reserved. But, however, it seemed like he was vocal when he had something to say, and he made no effort to hide his irritation. I guess he was talking to me just now. I wasn't positive, as he's yet made eye contact, but I was the only servant here. However, I could easily see myself getting scolded if I were to send a guest home without permission. I need to ask Nicholas. Just as I was about to find the butler and let him decide what to do, a strange calm voice interrupted.
あらあら、何の騒ぎ?
Lily, to the rescue!
おや、リリー嬢。今日も一段と麗しいですね。屋敷の奥に隠された美しい花に私はいつも心を奪われていますよ。
あなたも相変わらずお上手ね、アスコット卿。ところで騒ぎの元は、もしかして私の弟なのかしら。
Lily tilted her head to one side and Asuka responded with an exaggerated gesture.
いやいや、とんでもない。私たちの到着が遅れたばかりに会議に参加し損なっただけなんです。悪いのは私たちの方ですよ。ね、ルーク。
ああ。
Lucas reluctantly to cause a scene in front of Lily's second Ascot's climb. Lily clapped her hands together as if she'd come up with a brilliant idea.
それならあなた方は時間を持て余しているのね。だったら私とお茶でもいかが？ちょうどアフタヌーンティーの時間なの。
Why can't they just open the door?
ええ、喜んで。
Ascot was known as a ladies' man, so it was strange that he paused. Then...
悪いが僕は少し休ませていただく。失礼する。
Okay. Lucas flatly refused, turned around and left. He appeared to have given up on the idea of going home entirely, but he didn't want to join the other two for tea either.
まあ残念。それじゃ私たちだけで楽しみましょうか。
The smiling Lily was about to leave with Ascot. I hesitated, unsure whether or not I should call out to her. I hadn't really spoken to Lucas yet and wanted to learn more about him. This may be a chance now that he's alone. I hesitated at first, but an opportunity like this didn't appear very often. My lady, shall I bring Lord Lucas some tea as well?
あら、あなた気が利くのね。ぜひそうしてちょうだい。
I brewed some tea after gaining permission and headed to the drawing room where Lucas probably was. Probably. There was an answer when I knocked on the door. You can't just walk in. What should I do? I was about to knock a second time when I realized the door hadn't been closed properly. I thought he opened it. Before I knew it, I slipped inside. I sensed a presence within the room. Despite the silence, I couldn't hear a single sound. Is he asleep? I stepped further inside and found Lucas in the chair with his eyes closed, just as I expected. He might be upset with me for making tea without him asking for any. I tried to leave quietly, but I stumbled and jostled the tableware. Ugh. Did I wake him? I heard a faint noise and turned to Lucas. It was then I glimpsed something hanging around him. Was that my imagination? I doubt it. I should have seen something. I inched closer and squinted. The back of my hand grew warmer. Then... Oh! He woke. Our eyes met. I screwed up. I can't make an excuse. I entered the room without permission. Lucas did so quickly. He knocked over the chair. I panicked, thinking there's nothing I could do aside from apologize, so I did just that. My dearest apologies for interrupting your nap. Lucas didn't say a word, not even after my apology. He's just staring. Is he angry or not? He threw a tantrum in the hallway, so I expected to be scolded much the same way, but he didn't say a single word. Lost in thought. I'm very sorry for barging in. I prepared some tea for you, so feel free to have some if you like. Unable to bear the silence, I apologized again and turned to leave. Then something happened. A sharp pain ran through my shoulder. By the time I realized Lucas had grabbed me, the man had already spun me around. Huh? He looks so...
お前は
Uh...
お前は
Lucas His eyes were desperate, as was his grip on my shoulder. Both were strong, they hurt. He hadn't looked at me once earlier, but he was staring wide-eyed now. I couldn't help but notice how clear his eyes were, even though it wasn't really the time for such things. What does he want? The look at me, he made me think he wanted to say something important. I had no idea what that could possibly be. I would never know unless he opened his mouth.
お前、名前は?
The question he finally asked was a surprisingly simple one. All he wanted to know was my name. I feel like he wants to say more, but I could be reading into it too much. He doubt I could add anything more, so I answered. My name is Rose.
Rose.
Now he's silent again. I sighed internally when I realized he was lost in thought once more. I wanted to leave, but he had an iron grip on my shoulder. Suddenly I remembered what had happened earlier. That thing I saw near him. I should be able to tell whether or not I was imagining things from this distance. I didn't notice anything, however, not after looking closely.
引き止めて悪かったな。しかし、バーンスタインのメイドは勝手に客のいる部屋へ入るのか?
Lucas finally let go of me and started hurling harsh words instead. I'm terribly sorry about that. I apologize once again. No good would have come of this if I stayed any longer. My eyes met Lucas again as I tried to leave. He looked surprisingly calm.
まあいい。来たんだったら紅茶の一杯でも入れてくれ。用意を。
Lucas sat back in the chair, then glanced at the tea I brought. He doesn't seem mad. He was difficult to understand, and he wasn't the sort who got along easy with others. Despite that, he wasn't the sort of nobleman who was harsh with his servants, just like the other four. Us servants ran around the mansion busily now that the attendees of the five house conferences had gathered. This has been my chance to gather information. I'll keep my eyes peeled while I work. Great Hall? It's so quiet. The empty Great Hall, with its immense size, had an indescribably tranquil atmosphere. The light streaming through the large windows reflected off the polished floors, making the place feel otherworldly. No one's here. Let's go somewhere else. Okay, Emerald Hall. I finished patching up the shirt you asked for, Philip.
いやー、助かった。ありがとう。エブリンたちが褒めてたけど、本当に早いな。
I wonder how fast is fast, though. It seemed like Philip had more he wanted to say, but I heard familiar footsteps from above and left as soon as possible. It's no problem. I'll be going then. I headed for the hallway and disappeared into the shadows, not giving him a chance to stop me. Then...
足も速っ。って、あれ？エド様、難しい顔してどうしたんです？
The footsteps had indeed belonged to Edward. The pair were good friends who spoke casually, so I figured I could learn something by listening and covertly.
この国も随分変わったなと思ってね。ちょうどヤードの報告書を見ていたんだけど、最近特に治安が悪化している気がする。
なんだ、そんなの今に始まったことじゃないでしょうに。気に病むなんて。エド様は相変わらず優しいな。グランドアルビオンはずっとこうですよ。貧しい者はそれなりに生きるしかないんです。
だとしても俺の立場でその意見に同意はできない。そういう境遇のものを生まないように努めるのが貴族の役割なのだから。それに昔は今ほどではなかった。8年前が一つの転機だったのかもしれない。
8年前って。
Does he not know either? Or does he just not know at all? 8 years ago, is he talking about the outbreak accident? I tensed, waiting for Edward to continue. Instead, he lowered his gaze and remained silent.
少し喋りすぎたな。今の言葉は忘れてくれ。
隠し事ですか？俺とエド様の仲なのに水臭いな。そうだ、気晴らしに後で一杯やりませんか？いいブランデーが入ったんすよ。
ほら、俺をサボりの口実に使おうとしても無駄だよ、いる。
バレましたか
？I thought about Edward's comment as I listened to their footsteps recede. I wonder if he was referring to the outbreak incident. What does that have to do with the worsening security, though? I couldn't tell, not with the information I had at the moment. However, they had to be connected if a member of the 5 houses said they were. Oh my god, I feel like my video is all like jagged. Obtain a shard. Okay, entrance hall. And may I add water to a vase in a long gallery. Hello, do you need any help?
ありがとう。でもこっちの手伝いは大丈夫よ。ここももうちょっとで終わるから他のところをお願いできる？
Of course.
よろしくね。
I guess she's one of the nicer maids. I quickly bid her goodbye and left. Okay. Oh, dining room. Or dining hall. Edward and Ascot were having afternoon tea in the dining room. Allow me to refill your cup.
ありがとう。最近のお加減はいかがですか？
私はいつも通りだよ。もっとも
I
このとこ
legit
ろ
thought
夢
he
中
was
になれ
talking
る
to
子がい
us.
てね。
Oh, so we're kind of
この機会にいい
confused.
こと知り合えたら嬉しいな。
Ascot looked at me and winked. I wonder if he always acts like this. I pretended to not see anything and poured his tea. Ascot gave Edward a playful shrug.
アスコットさんのことではありません。私が言いたいのは。
ああ、なるほど。それなら答えは相変わらずだよ。いや、悪化してるかな？そう、
That's not the
8
same,
年
right?
くらい前から彼女は確実に急速に病んでいる。心も体もね。
They deliberately didn't name any names, but I could only think of one person they could have been talking about. They're talking about the Queen, specifically her health. Is it also related to what happened 8 years ago? Edward couldn't read my mind, but he voiced the question anyways.
もう少しはっきりと具体的に教えていただけませんか？例えばなぜ8年前かという点について。
Is he playing dumb though?
君だって具体的に語ろうとしないくせに私にばかり求めるのはおかしいじゃないか。君は何を暴こうとしているのかな、エド君？
あなたがそういう態度なら私も話すつもりはありません。
ならお互い様だね。
For Edward to deliberately ask Ascot when he could have requested an audience with the Queen means the subject isn't out in the open. I wanted to hear more, but it didn't seem like either would talk. I couldn't stay here any longer either, so I was no longer needed. I'll be excusing myself now.
またね。
I gave a quick bow to Edward and Ascot, who waved at me and left the room. Obtain a shard. Okay, entrance hall. Oh, Lucas! I was about to open the door, having finished cleaning the state entrance with Evelyn and Charlotte, when you ran into Lucas. My apologies, Lord Lucas. I apologized and poked Evelyn, who was frozen stiff. She forced a smile, but it was just barely. Oh,
ご
she's
機嫌い
scared.
かがですか、ルーカス様。休憩でしたら紅茶の準備をしてまいりますが、もしかしてご帰宅されようとなさってました？
僕がどこに行こうと関係ないだろう。放っておいてくれ。
Awkward. So awkward. His shoulders shook slightly at the words return home. He then pulled up his hood up and walked past us.
はあ、あれは噂以上の人嫌いね。
もう謝るのはわかるけど、突然話しかけるから驚いたよ。というか、ルーカス様も驚いてたね。
You're right. He looks like he's never expected to bump into anyone.
ほんと。だからこっそり帰ろうとしてるんだと思って聞いてみたのよね。
I wonder why Lord Lucas avoids talking to people at such an
理由なんて知らないわ。
extent.
あ、でも8年くらい前から引きこもり癖がひどくなったって噂を聞いたことがあるわね。
そうなんだ。何かあったのかな。
I looked in the direction Lucas had headed as the two chatted. Obviously, he was no longer in sight. 8 years ago, is the Albert incident connected to Lucas's dislike of people? He's part of the 5 houses. It was hard to imagine his antisocial tendencies had worsened 8 years ago purely by chance. Something happened. I want to know what. Obtain a shard. Okay, drawing room. Wait. See, this is where I'm like, oh hey, it's probably definitely not in order, but it's fine. That's... Lena sitting in the garden waved at Lucas as he passed by, then went over to him.
こんなところで何してるんですか、ルーカスさん。
お前こそ何をしている？
俺は昼寝しようと思ってたところです。会議はもう少し後にするってエドも言ってたし、休憩しとこうかなと思って。
なら僕は別の場所へ行く。邪魔したな。
strive to not even breathe the same air as another reveals itself again.
ああ、またルカさん。ちょっとだけ俺と話しませんか？
僕は話したくない。以上だ。
Linus' shoulders sagged as Lucas turned away,
お
breathlessly.
お、バッサリ断るんですね。じゃあ諦めます。けど、どんな相手ならルーカスさんは心を開いてくれるのかな。
ずうずうしいくらい人のテリトリーに入り込んできたやつなら昔いた。僕にとってあいつは
友達ですか？あ、もしかして寄宿学校時代の語学友ですかね。
友達なんていう資格は僕にはない。もういいだろう。聞かれたことには答えたはずだ。
ああ、
Boarding school friend.
余計なこと言ったかな。
How surprising. I never thought that Lucas, who wasn't afraid to declare his outright hatred of others, would ever consider someone a friend like that. If Linus is right, they might be a friend from his days at boarding school. Judging from his response, the topic was a taboo. I thought that was a good conversation that started, but it was actually the exact opposite. I need to be careful. Obtain a shard. Okay, the drawing room. Oh, the garden. I had a work-related message I needed to relay to Evelyn. I found her in the garden, but someone approached her just as I was about to call it out to her. Isn't that...
美しいお嬢さん、私の話し相手になってくれないかな。
え？もしかして私に言ってます？
Oh. Evelyn glanced around, clearly surprised to find Asuka standing talking to her.
もちろんそうだよ。ここには君一人しかいないじゃないか。どうしてそんなに驚くの？
それは美しいなんて言われたことがないので、自分のこととは思いませんでした。お世辞でも嬉しいです。ありがとうございます。
美しいと言ったのは本心だよ。信じてもらえないなんて寂しいね。
Oh, oops. Was he hitting on her? I was a little worried for Evelyn, but I never could have predicted her response to Asuka.
あ、そういうのを私には言わなくて大丈夫です。私、現実の男性に口説かれたいとは思ってなくて、恋愛は物語の中で楽しむものですから。
Damn, girl. Evelyn did such a good job declaring her views that even Asuka was taken aback.
え？面白いね。斜め上の反応だ。それじゃあ教えてほしいんだけれど、誰なら私の口説き文句に乗ってくれるかな？できれば君のように予想外の反応をする子がいいんだけれど。そう、例えばあの新しいメイドさんとかね。
あの子ですか？確かに予想外の反応をするかもしれませんけど、私よりバッサリお誘いを断るんじゃないでしょうか。
君よりもか。それはますます興味があるな。断然口説いてみたくなったよ。
Evelyn's expression said she just realized that she shouldn't have said that. However, Asuka had already lost interest and left. Oh god. I didn't watch the entire exchange. Going forward, I'd have to be even more cautious, but for an entirely different reason. have to get closer to Ascot, but I'll need to be careful around him for multiple reasons. I put that in the back of my mind and called out to Evelyn. I was polishing the vases in the hallway when I heard voices coming from the drawing room.
不肖の息子が苦労をかけているのではないか、アルフレッド卿。
Damn, he's always so like
いいえ
awful.
そんなことは。むしろエドワードは個性派揃いの御家会議をよくまとめていると思います。
そうか。しかしバーンスタイン家がかの家の代わりに博覧会の責任を再び負う立場になるとは皮肉なものだな。
Oh? He sounded bitter for some reason.
失礼ですが、なぜ皮肉だとお考えなのですか？公爵の地位をお考えになれば、バーンスタイン家が担うのは妥当だと思うのですが。
かの家とバーンスタイン家には浅からぬ縁がある。いや、因縁と言うべきか。
ほう。
Oh.
あの一族にまつわる不穏な噂は、あれ以降よく耳に入ってきましたが、そのような話、初めて知りました。失踪するまでは、あれほど民に慕われた御家もいなかった。かりそめの姿だったようですがね。
The atmosphere was tense. It was as if Moon and Alfred were testing one another.
だからこそ陛下を失望させぬためにも失敗は許されない。この件はエドワードに一任したが、何かあれば私も出るつもりだ。愚息が頼りにならないと判断した場合はすぐにでも知らせてくれ。
承知しました。
That's so like mean and sad. If I remember correctly, the former members of the 5 houses they mentioned had been in charge of the previous exhibition. I've always believed the topic was taboo, but it turned out I was wrong. While I was mulled over this, I sensed movement inside the room. Quickly returned to polishing the vase. Alfred exited the drawing room. He looked surprised to find me there. I pretended to be clueless and bowed my head. He must have concluded that I hadn't heard their discussion, for he left without a word. Is the key figure in the house Bernstein not Edward, but Amun, his father? It's too early to know for sure. Obtain a shard. Okay, parlor. Nicholas called me to the parlor and to sort and dispose some bunch of documents. Everything that needed to be thrown away out was separated into piles. All I needed to do was cut them into pieces with scissors. I worked quietly as Alfred and Nicholas discussed something.
以上だ。バーンスタイン家で手配すべきものは当然エドワードが承知しているが、念のため私もフォローに当たらせてもらう。
承知しました。アルフレッド様にはエドワード様を助けていただき、大変感謝しております。
年長者として当然のことをしているまでだ。それに、この博覧会は異例づくし、エドワード一人に負担をかけるべきではないだろう。
I wonder whether the rumored incident has something to do with whatever was unusual.
本来、博覧会開催の責任者を務めるはずだったあの一族が、姿を消したところから歯車が狂いましたな。
I stare slightly
そ
at
の件
Nicholas's
は今更
words.
口にしたところで仕方がない。今の体制でやるべきことをやるのみだ。
もちろんおっしゃる通りです。
I think they're referring to the same house Alfred and Moon spoke of earlier. There seems to be a significance behind this. You need to remember this for later.
ローズ、こちらは私が裁断しよう。そちらは片付いたら焼却に持って行きなさい。
Understood. The only thing that was filled the room was the sound of tearing paper. Obtain a shard. Okay, let's go to the butler's office first and then make our way down.
いやー、本当にごめん。手伝ってもらっちゃってさ。
Oh, are we snooping? It's fine. I happen to be free anyway. Actually, I'm grateful I finally have the chance to enter this room. I was like legit thought that was like her actually speaking. It was only a moment ago that I had first been able to enter Nicholas's office. Philip asked me to help him carry a huge pile of letters here. Sometimes Nicholas would leave the key to his office with his apprentice, Philip, when he was busy with other tasks. If I want to search for something here, I should be able to persuade Philip to bring me along. Although, on second thought, I'm not so sure.
それにしても、君は本当に働き者だな。エブリンたちも褒めてたぜ。
Well, yeah. I simply carried out the tasks assigned to me.
過ぎる謙遜は良くないぞっと。よし、これで簡単に仕分けもしといたし、大丈夫だろ。
He's really good at his job, too. Here I was hoping to look around a little. Well, he is the butler in training. Finishing the job so quickly frustrated me. It was then that I noticed Philip staring at me. Do you need something? Oh? Are my eyes wandering too much? Am I acting suspicious? Well, I grew a little nervous, but then I heard him mumble something that sounded like it looks really good. Oh? What are you whispering about?
ああ、ごめんごめん。うちの女性陣のエプロンの下に見え隠れする彩り鮮やかな服、やっぱいいよなって思って。
That was such a nice save. What? I hope you tolerate the blunt question I accidentally blurted as well as my narrowed eyes. I know I didn't even looking at us like that, Philip. I should tell Evelyn, no, Mr. Nicholas about this. I distanced myself from Philip.
ああ、やめてください。それだけはご勘弁を。殺される。ローズ様、何とぞ何とぞ。
I wonder why he was staring at us. I watched the man cry pathetically out of the corner of my eye. Then I considered my clothes as well as those of Evelyn and Charlotte. Now that you mentioned it, no rules were specific in regarding to our clothes, though our aprons are provided for us.
何とぞ内密に。で、そうそう。うちの屋敷はリリー様とエド様の方針で少し前から統一しなくなったんだよ。
Philip, who had been clinging to me, regained his composure somewhat at my comment. It was her ladyship and Lord Edward's policy.
ほら、最近巷が何かと物騒だろ。で、お屋敷支給の揃いの服だと御家遣いの使用人だって分かって、下手したら襲われるかもしれない。男連中は俺含めてそんなにやわじゃないからいいけど、メイドの子たちに何かあってからじゃ遅いって エド様がニコラスさんに相談したんだ。
That makes sense. So it was Lord Edward.
そう。で、それを聞きつけたリリー様が、せっかくならお屋敷が華やかになるようにみんな明るい服を着てほしいってなって。
Oh. Nicholas eventually complied with Lily's wish. Eventually, he gave in completely, so as long as the color and any decorative aspects were subdued. Emin didn't care as long as the servants' clothing didn't embarrass House Bernstein, and so the matter of uniforms or the lack thereof was
リリー
settled.
様ご自身も明るい服を前みたいに着られたらいいんだけどさ。まだもう少しかかりそうだな。
Poor Lily. For some reason, Philip didn't look like his usual self when he said that.
さて、いい加減仕事に戻ろうか。ボサボサしてるとニコラスさんの鉄拳が飛ぶ。
You're right. He'll surely scold us if we do a poor job based on what he said earlier. What did he say earlier? I left the room first. After a while, Philip followed me, sighing pitifully. I wonder when I can help him in that room next, as I briskly walked down the hall, making sure he didn't overtake me. Okay, let's go to the kitchen.
盛り付けまで完了と。あら、どうしたの？
I sensed someone's presence as I entered the kitchen. A fellow servant had just finished plating breakfast. Is it still breakfast? I wanted to help, but it looks like I'm too late.
あなた、本当に仕事熱心なのね。気にしなくて大丈夫。というか、私も盛り付けしかしてないのよ。シャルロッテが朝一で作業しておいてくれてね。あの子、料理は本当に手早いのよ。と、長話するとニコラスさんに怒られちゃうわ。
You're right. If everything is all right from right here, I should help us more. There didn't seem to be anything I could do, so I exited the kitchen. Wait, did we receive a shard in the last one? Okay, servant's office or laundry room. Okay, let's do servants. Let's do laundry room and then servant's office. Nicholas walked over as I helped Charlotte hang the laundry.
シャルロッテ、今日の夕食は特にアルフレッド様のお好きなものをお出ししたい。アルフレッド様はエドワード様のフォロー役としてお心を砕いてくださっている。コックとよく相談してメニューを決めてくれ。
That's really considerate.
はい、承知しました。もしよろしければ、ルーカス様のお好きなものもお出ししてよいでしょうか。
構わないが、何か特別な理由でも？
今日お見かけした際にとてもお疲れのご様子だったので、でもそれなら他の皆様も一緒でしょうか。
そうだな。誰か一人というわけではなく、おのおののお好きなものをお出しした方が良さそうだ。手間をかけるが、そのように対応してくれ。
かしこまりました。
気遣いができるのはお前の良いところだ。それでは頼んだ。
It appears Charlotte has gained Nicholas's trust. He used to be dumbfounded by her clumsiness and timidity. I guess it just takes time to earn his trust. Apparently, he judges people by both competence and loyalty, which is fair. The best I could do was hide my lack of loyalty. Earning the other's trust should be much quicker. I suppose it's up to preference now. I don't know if I can be of much assistance, but I'll ask Charlotte if I can help prepare the food. Okay, last but not least, the laundry room, or the servant's office. Wait, there's 2 charts though. Rose? Huh? Huh? What's going on here? This strange situation had started a few minutes ago. I was busy sewing myself some new clothes when I dusted after throwing away the old set. Then I heard a commotion outside. What's going on? Someone stomped towards the door.
いい加減話せ。
いいから、おとなしくしろ。その格好でうろつくのはさすがに許容できない。
年長者の役割を果たしたいのはご立派だが、僕以外にやってろ。このバカ力め。
Are they fighting? Oh, I believe that's... Just as my gaze settled, Alfred pushed Lucas towards me.
仕事をしているところすまない。頼みがある。
Are we mending his sweater, vest, cape? What is it? Alfred asked me to mend a loose thread in Lucas's cloak, something I also noticed. The entire cloak was worn, but the hem was completely ripped in the back. That looks pretty bad. I stood silently. Lucas sat some distance away. Meanwhile, Alfred leaned against the wall beside the door.
仕事中に突然すまなかったな。さすがに感化できる度合いを超えていた。
That's alright. This is also a part of my job. Besides, it isn't torn too badly. This should be an easy fix.
僕は別にそのままでもよかった。
My apologies for overstepping, but may I ask how your cloak ended up this way?
別にいいだろう、理由なんぞ。大した理由じゃない。
人に話しかけられない静かな場所へ行こうとして、庭園の植木に引っ掛けただけだ。
勝手に説明するな。
Despite Lucas's outburst, Alfred continued. During a break between meetings, Lucas wanted to be alone, but kept bumping into people, so he went deeper into the garden. Then he encountered Alfred, who had gone out for some fresh air. Lucas rushed towards the far end of the garden, resulting in the rip clothing. I see. Thank you for telling me. I thanked Alfred for the detailed explanation. He brushed it off, then sighed. Lucas wasn't bothering to hide his displeasure.
そもそもお前も年長者だろう。いい加減呉家の次期当主としてふさわしい格好をしろ。
He's basically told himself to stop wearing the cloak entirely.
王宮や式典ではきちんと外しているだろう。普段の格好にまで口を出される筋合いはない。
そのあたりの分別があるのは何よりだ。下手に陛下の目に留まればおもちゃにされる可能性もある。お前もそれは避けたいだろう。
Alfred sounded like he was trying to give Lucas helpful advice, but the latter snorted in response.
必要以上に僕に関わる必要はない。お互い深入りしても傷が広がるだけだ。聡明なアルフレッド卿なら理解していると思うが。
それは。
Wounds? Is the relationship between these two houses different than of the others? Silence filled the room once again. Neither spoke. Just like that, I finished my repairs. An escape route. Sorry to keep you waiting. How's this? Lucas took the cloak and checked the parts. I mended.
問題ない。助かった。
I bowed my head, surprised that he thanked me. As Alfred gave his own thank you, Lucas headed for the door.
これがあれば、ヤーンでも目立たない。
And with that, he pulled his cloak back on, or he put his cloak back on and left. I may not have understood what Lucas was implying, but Alfred seemed to. The long-haired man stared at the door after Lucas. I couldn't bring myself to inquire about their relationship, so I made a mental note to investigate later. Okay, that's our last thing. So, attic quarter. Everyone's downstairs. The only sound echoing about the attic was where the servants' bedrooms were located was my own footsteps. Who knows? Someone may return. Entering someone's room is too risky. Why would she need to do that? I couldn't make up an excuse if I were caught here, especially when the others were busy with dinner preparations. I had to get back before someone came looking for me. I turned on my heel and descended the stairs. Wait, why did she even go up there? Okay, I guess am I? Hold on. Bookstore. Oh! I was like, wait, I'm missing two. What am I missing? Okay, I was like, what the heck? Okay, bookstore or... Let's go to the shop first. I was like, wait, where are the other two? Oh, maybe I should have done bookstore first. Just like Cornell had something for me, so I stopped by the store after I dropped the
お探しのものが手に入ったよ。もっとも、お嬢ちゃんにとって愉快な読み物とは到底思えないけどね。
That's fine. I did say I wanted to see it, after all. Oh, after much persistence, Scarla gave me a book. It detailed the origins of the 5 houses and our recent changes within them.
初版だから今出回っているものと違って、家名なんかもそのまま記載されてる。そんなもんが読みたいなんて変わってるよ。最初の方は幼子でも知ってるような突国との戦い、そこからの建国といった内容が書かれているだけだ。
I flipped through the pages. The beginning was just as Garnos described. The information I wanted was about halfway through the book. House Randolph, descendants of the Queen's most trustworthy ally, and Rasul, they used the power she gave to them to turn against her. The Queen was disappointed. Per her request, House Lindell replaced House Randolph in the 5 houses. They were descendants from Puka, the Queen's attendant. House Randolph was a disgrace to the Demi-Fae, hypocrites who hid behind their mild-mannered masks. They were traitors who rebelled against our great queen and failed. Oh. I gave Bonner a bit of a nod, letting her know I was okay. Then I looked back at the book. Seeing the words in print hurt even if I had already expected this. The content was made for public consumption, so it had some tact, but it clearly looks down on the house. I know it's been written down here, but I wonder how many people actually believe this. Thank you. I've gotten what I've wanted.
そうならよかった
I'll be taking the book. Here, here's your payment.
はいよまた何かあったら頼んな安くしとくよ
Thanks again. Look after John for me. Obtain a shard. Okay, bookstore. I stopped by the bookshop while out shopping and met up with John. We'd arranged this beforehand using the pocket watch to contact one another. Excuse me, but could you hand me the book on the second shelf over there?
ええ、どうぞ。
Following the reserved exchange, I flipped through the book and found what I was looking for. A small note with John's handwriting. A discriminatory caste-based society has built up over the past 50 years. There were barely any disparities when the queen first ascended to the throne. The classism and deterioration of safety are linked, as is the queen's health. The situation may be more serious than I had first thought. I had to learn all I could about the queen, the 5 houses, and the situation in the country overall if I wanted to achieve my goal. Asking John to look into this had been the right move. I quickly glanced over the other information when the book itself caught my eye. The country's livelihood advanced greatly thanks to the queen decided to practice means as thanks for those who didn't create anything. The Mingles, they were abandoned.
何か言われましたか？
Oh no, it's nothing. Thank you for your help. Unfortunately, this isn't the book I'm looking for.
では、元の棚へ戻しておきましょう。
Thank you again. I really appreciate it. Smiling, I thanked John before heading back to the main road to continue my shopping. Obtain a shard. Okay, now we have all the shards. Let's take a break. During my free time, I searched for clues, but my efforts were unsuccessful. Therefore, I returned to my room. I took a seat, placed my pocket watch on the desk, and let my hair down. Then I took off my glasses and closed my eyes. There were many things I still had to investigate. I didn't know if I was making any real progress. I was filled with unease when it finally hit me that getting some rest might be the best.
随分とまあ疲れてるな
Oh wow, you're quite fickle. You never respond when I call you, but you're here now.
妖精なんてそんなものだって分かってるだろう中でも俺は妖精の中の妖精王だからな
I opened my eyes slowly and found an adorable looking robin sitting on my desk, staring at me. Do you have a message from him or something? He hasn't contacted me via the watch.
ないたまにはお前の様子でも見ておくかと思って来ただけだほーら優しいだろ
Well, like you said, I'm not that grateful. Despite my words, I shook the robin with my fingertips. Oberon said nothing in reply, which was unusual for him.
心配する義理はないが、お前には力を貸してる。契約履行の前に潰れないようにしろよ。
Did he just try to encourage me? He never talked like this. I'm speechless.
なんだその顔。ブサイクに拍車がかかってるぞ。
I instinctively tried to grab Oberlin when he said that, but he slipped away. How rude of you to say that to a lady.
ああ？レディーが暴力に訴えるわけないだろう。まったく。凶暴なところは相変わらずだな、ほんと。ここにいたら羽をむしられそうだ。帰る。
He began to fade away as soon as he said that. Wait.
なんだ
？Thanks. Awkward as it sounded, I still tried to thank him for worrying about me. The robin seemed to smile in response to her finally disappearing. The tension in my shoulder eased slightly. I hate to admit it, but I knew it was because I'd been able to talk to Oberon. I need to get going. I put my glasses back on and switched to rose mode. After freshening up, I put my hand on the doorknob. Then I remembered what Oberlin had said. Now that I think about it, he made it seem like I'm always violent towards him. I don't think I did anything bad though. I left my room. Something fell off. Wait. The crystals. I locked the room like before. There was no guarantee someone wouldn't come to my room when I was learning the truth. Let's check out all the shards I found. The last organizer of the exhibition and his household are a taboo topic. Who's targeting the exhibition now?
前任の公爵が残した博覧会の資料がどこかにあるはずだ。ニックなら知っているだろ
う。存じ上げておりますが、あまり前任者のことは気にしない方がよろしいかと。坊ちゃんもご承知の通り、かの一族は今やこの国にとっても女王陛下におかれましても今はしき記憶です。大罪人の残したものなど頼るべきではないでしょう。
But why can't we just see it anyways?
参考になるものもあると思う。実際、前回の博覧会内容はほとんどが前任者の計画したものだったんだろう。私も行って幼いながらにとても楽しかった。あの体験を今度は私が子供たちに届けたい。どこにあるのか教えてさえくれれば自分で探してくるよ。だから
坊ちゃん。旦那様は坊ちゃんに新しい語気をまとめ上げてほしいと期待されているのですよ。この意味お分かりですか？
そうか。よくわかったよ。
Nicholas is more loyal to Edmund than Edward, but seeing this makes me think he wants to protect Edward as well. Nonetheless, all this talk of previous Duke casts a shadow in my mind. Maybe what they were talking about is a rare case or something. How can they just pretend none of those documents exist? But some people did have fun during the last exhibition. The truth I seen was dark, but it warmed my heart at the same time, granting me some solace. Okay. I don't think it matters. 8 years ago, the Queen... Everyone gets tight-lipped and vague when they whisper about these. Is it guilt? Where am I? Everything looks fancy and beautiful, and yet scary. Before I knew it, Ascot kneeled before someone sitting on a grand chair. I couldn't see the person's face. How old is he?
楽しいことがあったかどうかで聞いているのなら、答えはノーよ。もうずっと私は落ち込んでいるの。8年前からずっとよ。私たちを引き裂いた邪魔者は消えたのに。誰か早く私の願いを叶えてくれないかしら。いつになったら見つかるの？やっぱり約束なんて気にせず私の元へ迎えてしまえばよかったのよ。退屈だわ。それに寂しいの。どうして私は一人ぼっちなの？
ごきげんよう、麗しい君。今度はまともにお話できる時に伺います。猛襲にとらわれ続けるくらいなら、いっそ。
So is he loyal to her? That has to be the Queen. Oberlin already boosted my power, yet I still can't see her. Is it because she's a pure Frey, who's much stronger than me? The Queen was shrouded in mist. Even recalling her voice was enough for me, for hatred and an explicit fear to well up within me. I wasn't supposed to be scared. Besides, what bothered me the most was... Don't tell me that the nuisance she referred to was... I heard a banging sound in my head. The loss I felt that day came rushing back to me. 8 years ago, she said. I assumed she was referring to the incident. How dare you say you're depressed? I closed my eyes, trying to regain my self-control and forget what I'd just seen. I couldn't let myself be consumed by dark emotions. Ascot was there though. I have no idea what the last part meant. Does he feel something for the Queen aside from respect? I've been so distracted by the Queen that I hadn't really checked his emotions. I need to exercise some great caution in the future. Okay. His reclusive tendencies weren't 8 years ago. Does his old friend have something to do with this incident? Lucas was busy arranging something on the desk when the door abruptly opened behind him.
レーカスさん、ご機嫌いかがです？近くまで来たので乗ってみたんですけど。
たった今最悪なのだ。
相変わらずですね。あれ？手紙？おや、メモですか？
カビ臭くなる前に虫干しでもと思っただけだけど。
なるほど。虫干しをしてきれいに保存したいぐらいその紙幣はルーカスさんにとって大事なものってことですね。あ、睨まないでくださいよ。それにしても結構古い手紙みたいですね。誰からです？あ、例の寄宿学校の。
ライナス、お前の仕事はよく知ってる。詮索するのが染みついてるよ。僕からは何も出ないぞ。せいぜい怨念ぐらいだ。
すみません。そんなつもりはなかったんですけど。気をつけます。ああ、でも、ルーカスさんを疑ったりとか本当にしてませんよ。ただ、純粋に興味があって。
悪いがお前の知的好奇心を満たしてやる義理はない。とっとと出ていけ。それとも火でも灯してやれば満足か。
Oh.
人が悪いですね、ルーカスさんは。昔はそこまでじゃなかったと思いますけど。
それはお互い様だ。この8年でいろいろ変わった。誰だ彼は。
わかりました。お元気そうですし、俺は帰ります。突然お邪魔してすみませんでした。
A lot's changed in the last 8 years, huh? Something happened between them 8 years ago, and that something changed everything. Is that what he means? But he said everyone. That means there are others who changed in the last 8 years too. I want to know who. On a different note, Lucas said something about prying into things earlier. Is that how House Ward usually acts? I felt a sense of resignation as I listened in earlier. I had to wonder if that feeling belonged to Lucas. And something akin to mockery, I guess. Oh, wait, it's more like pity, I think. With this, I've checked all the shards. Those memories are fragmentary, but I'll try to remember them all as well as the emotions I felt. Night fell and all my tasks were finished, and I returned to my room. Finally, I had some peace. Every day, I was reminded of how constantly on edge I was due to the differences in my mood. It's inevitable since I'm in enemy territory, and with memories of all 5 houses finally here, or members, I can't let my guard down. I can't let my guard down at all. Oh right, I have to contact John. Finally, a peaceful moment, I reached for my pocket watch, seeing the reassurance that came with knowing I was connected to my allies.
Yo, 楽しんでいるか?
You know very well that I'm not having the slightest bit of fun, so trying to anger me.
まさか。そんなつもりは皆無だ。リラックスさせようと思って言っただけ。ほんのジョークだ。
It wasn't funny. Owen flew around me, trying to butter me up after I've completely disregarded him. However, this only irritated me further. It was a good thing John had been with me at the time, because I never have believed this bird was the Fae King otherwise. After swearing my vengeance around the 6 months ago, John had offered me to take me to the Bluebell Meadow in the forest near my home. If someone wishes for something with their entire being and goes to a meadow filled with bluebells, the Fae King shall appear. I thought this was nothing more than nonsense, a nonsensical rumor, but we visited the forest nonetheless. And that's how we met.
ところで、この間はなんとかやれたみたいだが、シオの手はどうなんだ? 使いこなせているのか？
I still haven't mastered it yet. It activated unexpectedly, making me nervous.
それは厄介だな。でもせっかく強化してやったんだからちゃんと役立ててくれないと。
He had indeed listened to my desire and promised to help me with my plans for revenge. One of the ways he helped me was by strengthening the power I already possessed, my face at him. He wasn't helping me out of goodness of his heart, however. We had formed a contract as our interests aligned. In exchange for borrowing Orbelin's power to defeat the queen, I will take back his wing, which she's stolen. That's our contract.
やっとここまで来たんだ。しっかりやってくれよ。
Oberlin, who'd been flying around me, suddenly stopped moving and poked my hand with his beak, as if demanding something. I know. I replied grimacely and pained slightly. Satisfied with my answer, he disappeared into the watch just as suddenly as he appeared. I hadn't learned the details of why the queen had taken his wing. The only thing that mattered was that we could help each other. This should be my line. I already made it this far. I muttered, gazing at the pocket watch Oberlin had disappeared into. A dark fighting spirit burned within me. Mother, I'm sure this contract I made with Oberlin is the exact sort of promise you said I should never make lightly. I was well aware I was disobeying my mother. However, I had finally reached the starting line. Giving up now wasn't an option, even if that meant I had to disregard the wishes of someone dear to me. Okay, chapter 2. Okay, so I am actually gonna end it here. This is where I was allowed to record up to, but I'm not sure whose route I want to go to first, but I hope you guys end up playing the game, and thank you for Aksys for sending me the code. Hopefully I can get this up in time before their thing. If not, it'll be delayed because my computer is being all weird. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy watching it. Go out and play the game for yourself. Bye!